Make sure you watch Type 40 or the universe will crash on you.
Yeah, time for Type 40 Live, your live stream Doctor Who show materializing here on the Spacebook channel. Whatever time stream or time zone you're joining us from, welcome to a cracking time. Yes, this is Type 40 Live, hitting your screen in real time for our brand of interdimensional content and conversation here on YouTube and Facebook and across all major podcatchers too. As always, in front of a live chat full of friends, fans and companions just like you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Yeah, hopping our way to the Easter holidays this time, as ever, talking about the world's longest-running, best-loved sci-fi and fantasy TV series. Yes, take that, Trekkers. It's Type 40 Live's big Easter parade for 2023. I'm Dan Hadley, Birmingham's king of the geeks. I'm delighted to be back. Can't wait to get started. Thank you for the messages, the comments. We'll get round to all those in a couple of minutes. We're streaming this live to YouTube, as always, the world's largest of all the streaming platforms, and to Facebook, over there to the Type 40 Facebook group. Hello, everybody there. Remember, if you're on Facebook, you've got to hit that little blue link. If you want to join in and add your comments to all of this stuff and nonsense coming your way over the next 2 hours, you've got to hit the blue link, because that way Facebook will take your ID, your identity, and it will send it to StreamYard, and StreamYard will tell us who you are, and we all get on first name terms here to pass around the chocolatey eggs and get through all the stuff that's on the menu. This time, lots to get into, lots to talk about, and not a word about Doomsday. Oh, yes, that was quite a show last week. I think we've recovered. So I'm going to grab everybody one by one. They're all here. Please like, share, and subscribe as always, and hit the cloister bell to get all the notifications about what we're doing next and when we're doing it. Let's grab them. Let's wrangle the team together. We've got, yes, she's back. Now, understand, I think it's come back again, hasn't it, Queen Charlotte? Charlotte Shields is suffering again.
Yeah, just I'm going to be ill constantly, I think, until literally the middle of summer at this point. It's just, I'm going to have some sort of a nose bunged up. I'm going to be coughing. Luckily, it's not the cough. It's just a bit snottiness. But yeah, it's back.
Well, we'll take your mind off it, I'm sure, with lots of things we've got to get
that's
into.
What I'm hoping.
Yes, it's the same old jokes, of course it is. But lots of double entendre, nostalgia, fan art, adverts, all that kind of thing to get into, and even it may even be a cheeky quiz thrown in there as well.
Some good old-fashioned fun. I think we all need a bit of that right now. Fun
and japes in the Type 40 Live way, and people have come dressed for the occasion too. I think. Hellfire. Now, if you remember, there used to be a guy who used to spend all day in his dressing gown. His name was Hugh Hefner. And this is why I wear my dressing gown a lot, but I think he got it down to a fine art. But the other half of the equation of his lifestyle was hanging around with a lot of human-sized bunny rabbits. Now, I can't manage to get the kind of people that he used to get in the Playboy mansion there, but I do have a couple of bunnies, all of my own. I'm delighted to say that JT and Simon are both here.
Hello! Happy Easter, everybody.
Oh, you two look brilliant. You look
yes, I know.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And I'd just like to actually say to all the Spacebookers, apart from hello, I'd like to say thank you for all the letters and cards we've been receiving this week. Oh, no, that's Esther Ranson. But I would like to say thank you very much to everybody that's been in touch over the last few weeks. And yes, this is the show for you. Big bumper edition coming up for Merchandise Paradise a little bit later on in the show. But thank you so much for asking, where is it? Where is it? But yes, stay tuned and it'll be up a little bit later on.
It's a good one. There's something for everybody.
Yeah, and I've got to say, little Lenny is in the building. I don't know how long little Lenny will be in the building.
Hi, Lenny. Is it past his bedtime?
It's way past his bedtime, but Lenny is in the building. Hold on, let's tilt down a bit. There you go. Yeah, he's in the building. There he is. There he is. He's got his little rainbow collar on.
Have you got an Easter egg hunt planned for Lenny? Do you think you'd manage to get him around the garden, maybe?
Yeah, I think he'd scoff the lot within about 3 seconds.
They find them very, very quickly, don't they? That's a very interesting outfit you're wearing as well, there, JT. The dicky bow and the badges too. I spy a couple of those badges, and you've got a friend.
Yes,
you've got a friend. So
this is Bonnie. Bunny, everybody. Bonnie, hello, Bonnie. How are you? Yeah, she's lovely. There you go. Bunny, everybody.
Yeah, apparently Bonnie knows Lenny and Lenny knows Bonnie. They've been texting each other all day, apparently.
These things happen, don't they? Let's bring on the rest of our panel. We've got as well somebody who, I think if you sent him off on an Easter egg hunt, he'd probably do quite well as well.
Yeah, he would.
And he's always slacking on the show, as you know. Whether he's got an Easter egg yet, we're about to find out with Ian David Diaz, the Mega Geek.
No Easter eggs, unfortunately. No ears. But yeah, I've just finished my snack, so I might have to go and get some more when we have break. So there you go.
What do you favour? Do you favour the chocolate buttons, or you one for Smarties? What's your favourite Easter?
Smarties, definitely Smarties.
They always have the answer.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, we had lots of answers last week, didn't we, to that huge doomsday conversation that we had that sort of took over the show, really. And I don't know about you guys, but I've had a lot of messages about that. And it's obviously brilliant that the comment section's been so active. I think we really did, despite that wasn't the show that we got planned. It probably was the show that the fandom needed. We can see what Lenny needs there. He's after something, Simon. She's your aftershave. What do you think it is?
I don't know what it is. It's probably best not to know.
I'm going to say, Lenny, he's not the actual Easter Bunny, mate. He's not going to give you chocolate.
That's what he's hoping for.
As if this
it's all covered love.
All 7 of us, if you count Bonnie there. As if this wasn't a packed enough panel, we do have another guest. I'm delighted to welcome our special guest panelist for this edition of Type 40 Live. He's all the way from the Who Addicts, also on YouTube, so you might recognise him from that channel. Been around for quite a long time. So yeah, this is James Wilson, and he's got somebody with him as well. Or I don't know who's the one who's in the driving seat there, who's in charge of the mic. Hiya, James.
Now, listen, right? Just because you're a bear doesn't mean they're going to take the mick out of you for not being a rabbit, okay? I didn't know the Easter thing.
Bear.
Oh, hello. Sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. We were just in the middle of a conversation. He was getting quite irritated that everyone was wearing that. He thought, why don't bears get their own holiday as well? But I'm not going to get into that. Hello, everyone.
Bear rights now. Bear rights now.
James, they get picnics all the time, to bears.
They do.
Teddy bears picnics are a thing. So does your bear have a name?
I kept trying to tell him.
Cocaine bear. I made a
have
film
a name.
Yes,
James.
it's an extremely original. Yes, he does. He's called Bear Tennant, an extremely original name, but yes, it's called Bear Tennant.
I like it. So people may recognize your face and your voice from the Who Addicts. How long has that been on YouTube now?
10 years now, I think. Yeah. We've been going on and off for about 10 years now. This year, so yes, I definitely do feel quite old in comparison.
In comparison to who? In comparison to Lenny, or
no. Just I feel old in comparison to all these other kind of much younger YouTubers that are coming out, because we get people telling us, you inspired me to go onto YouTube. I used to watch you when I was a kid, and I'm like, I feel like I still am a kid. You know, I'm I mean, I'm 28, but still, these people come along and they're in like their late teens, early 20s, like 2021, and I'm like, how? What time has went by here? So yeah, it's a bit surreal.
The platform has changed a lot, James. It's even managed to rope in some people from the other age other age bracket above.
Can I throw into this particular mix about age, because there's some on the panel, James, that are a little bit older than you. And,
I know.
I have to big myself up here for a second, because get this. In this new edition of the 1988 Chronicles that's just come out, which I just bought, I've discovered that right down at the bottom of page 90, where is it? There we go.
Oh, wow.
Second Dimension finally gets a mention in Doctor Who magazine of sorts, and that's the magazine, that's the fanzine that I was putting together in 1988, James.
Wow.
So that makes me feel very, very old, to be honest. But it's nice to get a name check in the magazine.
Why do you think I'm on here? It's so I can feel way better about myself.
In all cases,
it's all right, James. James, it's all right. Us young guns will keep these lot in check.
We're delighted to have you on the show, James. This is our big Easter parade extravaganza. We've got a lot we're going to get stuck into on this one. You're going to get it all, both barrels, my friend. I don't know. Is it better if you've seen the show or not? I don't know. I'm not sure whether you're better off living in ignorance or not, but enjoy the show and get stuck in and throw in your views by all means. And we're going to go and check out to see what people have got to say. There are people who actually watch and listen to this stuff, believe it or not.
Really?
They're over there. I know. They're over there in the comment section. So let's go and find out what they've got to say. Oh, yes, a nice, packed live chat full of messages. Good to have you all here. We're going to get stuck into your messages and greetings right now. First here was Kelly with 7 likes. Already 7 likes on YouTube. That was nearly an hour before the show started. Now, this is because we actually get real-life time travelers who watch this show, James. So they've obviously been back in time. They're forward in time. They knew it was a good one. So they've gone back and they've liked it already. So I can only say that if you trust them, not us, like the video now, because you're bound to forget later on. Like the video, subscribe. If you haven't already, check you're still subscribed and hit the cloister bell to get all the notices. That's how that works. Peter Harrington was next in with a good evening all. Liked, sorted, now to go off and make a cuppa. That's it. Get your priorities right there, Peter. That's good advice.
Trained, Peter. We've got you trained.
Evening all from Simon Ashley. Ahoy shipmates from Crimpline Doubloon. We can't really get past this section until we get one from Crimpline there. It doesn't seem right without him. I see the 11th Doctor, 12th Doctor, 14th Doctor. Anyone missing? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what Jack Thursby's talking about. Maybe we'll find out when we get deeper into the show there. We'll have to ask him. Gary Browser's here too. And so is Peter Harrington. He's popped up again. Jack says, how is it Thursday again? Already. He's still recovering from last week's show as well. I think that's what it is. Richard Brooks is here as well. And so is Sam. Oh, Simon, we get it again. What's happening, dudes? We get the dudes again.
Dude, I'm still riding on this from last week. I love being a dude.
Dudes is sticking. It's sticking, Ian. It's sticking.
Stick all it wants.
You are Ian, you are a dude. I do believe you. I don't know.
Ian just shakes his head. Yeah, just because you've been called a dude for years and years and years, it's new to the rest of us. We've got look at this. Another celebration here in the time capsule. Richard Brooks, happy birthday, 52 today, and he's chosen to staying in and watching and listening to this stuff. JT, how about this? What do you reckon of this?
Yeah, happy birthday, Richard.
Quite right, too. Yeah, happy birthday, Richard, from all of us.
Happy birthday.
Should be getting a drink and getting drunk.
I'll pop him in the diary for later.
Maybe he is. Maybe he is. We'll see. The night is young, isn't it, Richard? Happy birthday, mate. Garbage says evening 1 and look at this. Gary Browser's given Richard a virtual birthday cake there. Simon Ashley asks, is everyone in festive Easter mood? How many Easter eggs have you all eaten so far? I'm at the 0. I have to say, Charlotte?
0.
Zero.
JT?
Well, it's a week till Easter, really, isn't it? So I haven't got any yet. I haven't even bought any yet, but I would probably have 0 because I'm not really fond of chocolates.
Exercising restraint. James, were you flashing a 0 there as well?
I was, yes. Flashing a big fat 0, I'm afraid. I am not as big into Easter as I used to be. Busy with work. When I'm not at work, I'm trying to do acting. When I'm not doing those two, I'm trying to make Whoadic videos. So I actually completely forgot it was Easter until I saw like what the theme of this video, what this live was going to be. So I was like, oh God, it's Easter, really? God, 2023 is going fast.
Yo says Ulrich de Costa. What a brilliant name.
It's a new one. It's a new
Hello, Ulrich.
guy. Yeah.
Welcome
New
to the
guy.
show. Great. Oh God, it makes Dan Hadley sound so boring. I want to be Ulrich de Costa. Bloody hellfire. The first person on the stream to make an egg pun.
That was you, Dan.
Is a rotten egg. I think I started with one, didn't I? There was one on the thumbnail.
You started with one.
That was you.
Yeah.
No.
We've got several tunes here in the live chat. Of course, Type 40 Live does have the very best theme tune in all of Doctor Who podcasting. Raymond Williams is here with an evening or hi all from Rebecca Gold. Blimey. Hello all from Jamie Reese. I've been looking forward to this show all week. No pressure, Jamie. Thanks for being here. We look forward to everyone, don't we? Stop exaggerating, says Richard from the birthday boy there. Get that one in. Paul Murray asks, have you started your marathon yet, Dan? It's called Snickers now, and I know I haven't got one of those either.
Well, you can have some of these because I'm not a big chocolate eater, but I am a collector. Obviously, I've got the usual, it's a collection of chocolate eggs here from Doctor Who time. You can also have some of these if you like. These are original Froobs, which are yogurt. Ooh. If you want some of them, they are sealed, and they are from 2017. If you want them.
Oh dear, they would probably.
I can beat that. I can beat that because right behind me here is the Easter egg from 1982.
Simon, I have that. I've got 2 of them over there. I've got that.
Complete with the egg. The egg is still inside it.
The egg is still in there. If you ate that,
you'd probably
have 48 hours in hospital if you try to eat that.
Yeah, from 1982. But it is still the original egg. And then, of course, if we open it up, you get a very rude Peter Davison. Oh, very, very rude Peter Davison. Naughty boy.
Blowing a gasket. Those kind of, say, because they're thin chocolate, aren't they? But they'd still go very, very hard. You could probably do some serious damage.
It's the egg has got a little bit of a hole at the back where it's sustained a little bit of battle damage, I'm afraid. And I was looking at it earlier, and I have to be honest, the chocolate, you can't see it here, folks, but you're gonna have to trust me. The chocolate is still brown. There's no white on it at all. I genuinely think you could actually
really.
This.
I wouldn't like to try it.
Well, I think that, some of them they go, because if you notice Easter eggs, they used to be a lot thicker then, didn't they? And if you ever caught your brother or sister a glancing blow to the head with one of the old style Easter eggs, you could probably knock them out. So let us know, please, in the comment section, have you ever knocked out a family member with an Easter egg? Let us know Instagram and Twitter at Type40 Doctor Who with the answers to that one. We'd like to, by the end of the show, want at least one person. Have you knocked out a family member with an Easter egg? We need to know these things. Evening one and all says the Geeks handbag. What I want to know from Adam, he's a master merchandiser as well. Have you any Easter eggs of comparative age in the Geeks handbag, Adam? I think we all need to know that too. And have you ever knocked out a family member with an Easter egg? Obviously,
it's a bigger in the inside than it is on the outside. His handbag. So there you go.
I think it probably is. It has to be for all that merchandise. So lots of messages. Oh, we can't possibly leave this without saying hello to the Darren Zone. Good to be here again. He's one of our regulars, and Michelle Hamilton's here too. So keep them coming, everybody. Lovely to see so many familiar names like Wendology. And Stephanie Barrett there from Tasmania. Hi all, says Woodhouse 122. Keep them coming, everybody. We've got lots to get into on the show. Oh, we've got this message for you, Charlotte.
Thank you, Geek.
We've got a few of those actually. Oh, how nice is that?
So you'll be used to it soon. Like I said, I'll be well by summer, I predict at this rate.
And the Geeks handbag is also loving the bunny ears, JT and Simon.
What do you mean? These are my normal ears. How rude.
the Primord infectant's back with a big old high. He still hasn't got any cream for that. I don't know. Maybe over the Easter holidays. And the chat is flying today. We're all flying garbage. Thanks for being here, everybody. We've got some great stuff to get stuck into on this edition of the show. So please like the video now, subscribe to the channel, and all that. Well, actually, don't listen to me. Listen to him.
Greetings, I am K9. If you have an inquiry and Siri or Alexa cannot help, maybe I can. Have you ever wondered if time travel is possible? Or what can a sonic screwdriver do? I may have the answers. Please leave your questions in the comments below.
Yes, springtime. Spring is nearly sprung. I think we can safely say the days are getting a bit longer, aren't they? And Ian's huffing and puffing, but I'm generally quite excited.
Ian always huffs and puffs.
I know that, some of us didn't have the best of Christmases, did we, Chris? But I do hope that Easter brings a little more joy all around. And first of all, of course, the sun is gradually coming out. So, you know the rule. It's the sun's out, guns out. Certainly is for Shooty Gatwa. This is his latest shot from some sort of shoot that he's been on. So this time, Ian says, oh, God. But Ian, there's none of the flamboyance and the other outfits. Surely you can appreciate a man likes to get down to his vest, maybe to do a bit of work in the bathroom, doing some grouting. Maybe it's that kind of outfit, isn't it? Do you think that's what he's doing?
No, I give up. Anyway, carry on. Carry on.
No, but this is the very, very latest of many fashion shoots so far from our upcoming 15th Doctor. Still haven't heard much that he's saying, but he does seem to be knuckling down with the job simply of becoming the Doctor. How excited are you for our upcoming leading man making his debut? Probably around Christmas time, James. Are you up for all this?
I'm ecstatic. I am absolutely so ecstatic for all of it. I haven't looked forward to Doctor Who this much in a really, really long time. Not since I think maybe Spyfall Part 1. I think was probably the last time I was this excited for something Doctor Who related. And yeah, I'm here for all of it. David being back, Catherine being back, just basically like it's 2008 again. I suddenly feel like I'm a kid again. I was a child when Series 4 came out, so to see all those coming back.
All right, don't milk it, don't rub it in.
Yeah, he's getting on my tits now.
Sorry. I don't mean to make it still an age thing. This is just so. But it's nice to maybe for those 4 specials to kind of return to a simpler time where I had homework instead of bills to pay. So that was, so that would be fun.
You could always see if a family member could set you some homework, a significant other maybe, or you. Yeah.
No.
For time's sake.
No, no more homework for me. I'm done.
I can't even remember what homework is, so there we go.
So yeah, this is the 60th anniversary year, and we are somewhat rolling with the punches. It has to be said, and we've got this enormous graphic with that wonderful diamond logo, which is starting to appear all over the place. This week, the official account did debut this poster for the 18th anniversary, specifically of New Who. So we got this across all the BBC social medias with this kind of new arrangement there with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 incarnations of the Doctor and somebody else. I don't know what's going on there. So I always say, don't I, on this show, that we Doctor Who fans are always celebrating something. When they put things like this out, I do. Obviously, we know what it's all about, JT, but the casual fans, I often think they must be a little bit confused by this. So what are we celebrating now? In what order? What's this? But I thought it was 60. But. It's a bit of an oversaturation, maybe.
No, it's not at all, because as I've said many times before, the general public in the United Kingdom don't give a toss, and they are not invested in the show, and they won't be looking at this, and they don't care.
Well, I mean, so the people who casually, the people who sign up to the social media accounts who hit like.
It does prove my point, as I've been saying over the last wee while, that in a couple of years' time, they will be celebrating the 20th anniversary of the reboot rather than the continuation, and that's why it still reaffirms my belief that they should have had Doctor 1 day 1 from 2005 onwards and just done their own thing with this. So that doesn't affect me at all, and I'm not interested.
It's an unbelievable 18 years since sites like this We're on most streets in Britain, and I get quite nostalgic for even posters like this. It was a very, very exciting time to be a fan, to be into TV generally, and I'd love one of these billboards. I just don't think I know where to put it in. I haven't got a wall big enough.
Yeah, I think you haven't got a bedroom big enough. That's the thing.
I think I could put it on the side of the house maybe, but I think the neighbours, I probably need planning permission or something, wouldn't I? What do you think?
I think Geeks could probably fit it into his handbag.
Yeah, probably, because it's bigger in the inside, isn't it? It's on the outside. Yeah.
I can't believe the size of that BBC logo is enormous. I honestly don't think they'd actually have the gall to put a BBC logo that big anymore, in all honesty.
I keep saying this, right? When I first saw the trailer where he was running and a big ball of fire behind him, I was so excited.
Yeah, we all were, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Very, very exciting. Of course, that led to Rose, the first episode of the big comeback there, which I know that people have various different opinions about this episode, but I'm very, very fond of it and of that entire time. But I do think that, putting out those things, Charlotte, those big graphics. I mean, I'm talking not so much about the general public, but the people who click like on social media to follow the brand. So they keep one eye on it at best. They're not like us. We land on every single announcement and things, but it's probably harmless in one sense. But I suppose it just speaks of the modern age, doesn't it? And the fact that everything's trying to grab our attention all the time.
She's on silent. She's on silent.
Charlotte is so stunned by this that she's lost the power, power of speech. It's extraordinary. I'm sure she'll reconnect okay in a moment. No, it's like
still can't hear you, Charlotte.
No, we can't hear you, Charlotte.
It was going so well.
We'll get her back. We'll get her back in a minute.
Okay, she's just mute though. She's pressing the mute button.
Press mute now. Yeah.
What I find absolutely amazing with this is when you say it's 18 years since Rose, and I play this mind game with myself frequently, whereby I think I go back to the classic years and I think, okay, in 18 years we'd gone from William Hartnell to Logopolis and the breadth of stuff that is in between. And I still maintain that the classic series developed and changed far more than the New Who ever has in 18 years, because there is no comparison whatsoever between an Unearthly Child and Logopolis and everything in between it. Whereas New Who, it still feels to me, it still feels somewhat homogenized. It still feels like they're still treading the same old boards. Okay, they've moved the furniture about a bit and they've messed some things up. But, it just doesn't feel as though it's ever developed in the way that the classic show did. I just think, season 18 with a funereal Tom just couldn't. And you think of everything that's gone between the John Pertwee years, the black and white years. It's just. It seemed to have moved on so much in 18 years.
I know what you mean, but I still love both. I love classic and I love New Who.
No, that's fine. I'm not saying this is the criticism about New Who at all. It's an observation that I don't think that they've been as brave as they could have been with reinventing it. They keep saying
because it's a different time, isn't it? Because when Doctor Who came out, TV was just being developed and it was new, and it was very young at the time. And then you get to the point where New Who came out, and there's all these rules and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So they're kind of constrained a bit.
Do you know what?
Television's changed a lot, I think. Sorry.
Yeah, but I'm going to disagree with that, because look at the success of proper Doctor Who. To new generations coming to it now, it's still accessible. It's still telling a story. It doesn't matter if technology's changed or if television has changed. The trick is to tell a story. And that's something that the reboot Who hasn't managed to do, because they're so intent on getting it within 45 minutes or an hour. It's bang, 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 bang. And the story goes to pot. And then they've messed up the formula by having single episode formulas over 45 minutes to an hour rather than the continuation of the story. So I'm going to actually disagree with that, because when you do look at the success on BritBox of the original series, the younger people especially, that's where they come in. And actually, if it hadn't been for those original episodes, there wouldn't obviously have been an audience ready-made for the reboot, because younger people have come in through the 90s, over the 16 years it was off air.
I agree with you there. Definitely agree with you that if it wasn't for classic, obviously we wouldn't have what we got today. And but there are some really good stories from New Who, definitely. Some that just stick out.
We're having a version of the conversation we had again last week, aren't we? Simon Ashley says, like James, I'm like a kid in a candy store at the thought of new Doctor Who. So Simon's really come round to it.
Candy, it's bad for your teeth. There you go.
Yeah, so obviously this is the 60th anniversary year, and we are assured that there's lots coming up later in the year. Apart from the drama that's on TV, there should be other things coming down the pipe to us eager fans as well. But unfortunately,
I was going to say you've got something coming on very, very soon on Channel 5. Good old Channel 5 here in the United Kingdom. Now, a few weeks ago, Channel 5 broadcast a Secrets and Scandals of the Carry On films. And this is a series. And I'd heard last year they were bound to do, or they were looking into doing, a Doctor Who one. And they are. And it's
how
on
did you read my mind?
Yeah, I did. It's I knew last year it was going to be done because I'd heard people were fishing around and being approached to say, right, okay, would you like to say something? Didn't ask me, unfortunately, but never mind, because I would have done. But yeah, it's on the way, and it's going to be in the next wee while.
Is that a new design for 5?
No,
they've had this for a little while now. So this story, you're quite right, JT. So this was kind of broken by TV Zone UK just yesterday, that Channel 5 are to, and this is what it says in the little statement there, to explore Doctor Who's secrets and scandals in a new 90-minute documentary. It was originally due to air over this Easter holiday. However, it's been pushed back in the schedules now. They haven't said why. But it's clearly been finished, otherwise it wouldn't have been ready to broadcast.
I think they all have. I think there's 4 different episodes. Yeah.
I think it's to correspond with the 60th, and you want to cash in on that.
I suspect, Ian, that's probably what I'd do. You think so too?
I think. Sorry. Go on. Sorry.
I think it's possible, but it's not the series. The Carry On one was first, and I believe there's 2. The Carry On Doctor Who, and there's 2 more. I think there's a series of 4.
Well, previous they've made some of these before. So James, I don't know if you've caught any of these on Channel 5. Channel 5's got a bit of a trashy reputation now, hasn't it? You know, they've just celebrated their 26th anniversary this week. But these scandals and secrets documentaries, have you ever caught any of these, James?
Well, Channel 5, see, the thing is, it's been a very long time since I've watched any live television. I've got to admit, I have kind of been consumed by streaming quite a tad. So it's been a while since I've seen any of that. But I did definitely hear about the secrets and scandals of Doctor Who that going to air. And personally, I think Michael Grade's probably going to be shivering in his boots.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that?
Because he's the one who axed Doctor Who in the 80s.
Well, he's not really. He's the guy that put it on a suspension, but it was Peter Cregan that actually axed Doctor Who in the late 80s.
Yeah. Do you think it's because? To the average person, though, to the man in the street or the average viewer, the general memory is that Michael Grade was responsible for this.
Yeah,
so he's one of those figures that looms large, isn't he? Ian, in Doctor Who's history? I mean, it does look like, if you look back on the other shows that are in this series of secrets and scandals, it's easy to panic when you see things like this, particularly in the social justice era. But other shows that have been covered in previous runs are You Being Served, Steptoe and Son, The Good Life. I mean, how many secrets and scandals could you possibly find in a show like The Good Life, for heaven's sake?
You'd be surprised.
Carry On films and Only Fools and Horses. Yeah. So I want to look into this a little deeper, because over on Twitter, which, as we know, it's usually a really calm and reasonable place usually, and people don't lose their S on a daily basis at all. But yesterday, some Doctor Who fans were panicking about secrets and scandals. But if you look at the listings here for the Only Fools and Horses show, on that they interviewed Sue Holderness, who played Marlene. They interviewed famous celebrity fans like John Thompson from Cold Feet and The Fast Show, and it revealed behind the scenes the making of the chandelier scene. And they visited one of Dell's wine bars, and they talked to people about the repeats and how they changed the theme tune and things like that, and how John Sullivan, the writer, was inspired by real life events to fuel the stories. So I wouldn't describe any of that as scandals at all, and it's not really that much of a secret. If you're a Fools and Horses fan like I am, you know all that stuff anyway. So I'd say this is going to be, actually, we have no need to panic, JT, and that this is probably going to be a really mainstream documentary.
I don't understand why. I haven't seen any of that, but if these alleged fans are panicking, I don't get why. I mean, just knock it off. It's just a TV show, and that's and a lot of the stuff they report. I mean, if you look at the Carry On one, it was a lot of stuff we knew already. It was that the women were paid less a lot less than the male stars, but that's how it was back in the day as well. Unnecessary in show business, but that's how it was. It was the sad lives that these real people had, like Charles Hawtrey was an alcoholic. We know that. We knew about the Kenneth Williams' problem. So it's going to be things like that. But Doctor Who has had its secrets and scandals, not as much in the past as it has these days. So I'd be interested to see more about what they're going to be doing. Is it going to cover the whole production of the original series, the original 26-year run?
I'd say it's going to be the classic series, simply based on the fact that all their other shows have been about classic TV shows. So I would say it's pretty likely they're going to stick to the classic version.
It's a bit clickbait, isn't it, Dan? Do you know what I mean? Because Channel 5 had that title, but it's not really any scandals. You just mentioned Only Fools and Horses. I watched that one. There was nothing in there.
Yeah, it was good, that one. I like that one.
There was nothing in there that was scandalous at all. So it's just kind of clickbait. In fact, Channel 5 would never survive if they didn't hire me to tune in all those VHSs for them. Because that's what I did when I was younger. To make money, I had to go around houses and shoot. I don't know if you remember that. Does anyone remember?
I do.
I did that. I had to wear the jacket and all that rubbish. There you go.
Well, I do know. I've done a bit of digging around, and I found out that two people who have contributed there, JT, two people they were able to track down and speak to. One was Ian Levine, who, as we know, was the uncredited consultant on those early JNT seasons from, say, 1980 up until 1985. So Ian's spoken to them, as has Waris Hussein. Waris, of course, the director of the original story, An Unearthly Child there. So again, I can't imagine that Waris would be involved in anything that was particularly scandalous. But I think that when it comes to the Twitter reaction to this, I think there's a certain generation of fans, James, that are used to, in the era post Weinstein and Savile and all these things, and certain media figures and their terrible actions being exposed, that people of that generation who've grown up under the spectre of that kind of assume that something appalling is going to be revealed about one of our heroes. And whilst I think that is an overreaction, just as JT says, I mean, how do you feel about that? Is that fair?
Well, the thing is that I think someone had said this kind of thing just before, and just like to sort of expand on that and just say that if you try and do a secrets and scandal series about TV shows from the 70s and 80s, you're never going to struggle for scandalous things from that era. You know, you've got you were mentioning Waris Hussein there. He's a gay man, and not only that, but he's not white. So you know, back then in the 60s, especially in the UK, and well, everywhere really, would have definitely, you know, kind of he would have faced a great deal of racism and homophobia back then. So I think
that's what they're going to go after, aren't they, James? They're going to go after that stuff. You know,
they're
going to go after Leela. They're going to go after Perry's bus line. They're going to go because it's like the Sun, isn't it? Like the Sun newspaper. That's what they're going to do.
They're going to try and drag up all this stuff. Not because I mean, yes, it's wrong, but it's also we know that the past is full of crap.
Exactly.
We know that. So in a way, I don't really see what to light this may bring.
No, me neither.
I'd just like to point out that the modern day, James, is also full of crap just as much. Homophobia is still rife, and it still comes from the TQI brigade. Yeah. You know, so
I'm not saying that these kinds of things still don't happen. I mean,
absolutely, but it's around today still. It's still. I mean, you could do a load of shows about Reboot Who and the scandals that have gone on there, behind the scenes dramas. Because there's been much more than there were on the original production run.
I think, unfortunately, I would steal yourselves for the fact I think they'll probably go after William Hartnell.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious what they're going to do if they're going to go full steams ahead with the scandal thing. They're going to go through all the stuff that's not good for today. Like when they did the Starsky and Hutch thing, and they went after what's his name, David Soul's, you know, drinking and stuff. They could probably go after Tom Baker's drinking as well, won't they? So that's what they're going to do. It's like, who cares? You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's not going to bother me as a Doctor Who fan. Why would it bother anybody else? You know, so
Well, it shouldn't. Well, if they go for those sort of things, that's all. That's all it is. I think they'll probably do more about production stuff and what have you as well. But we'll see.
yeah.
We have several people asking when can they see this. I hope I get to see this, says Scott in the game closet there. And as soon as we know, we'll let you know. And I suspect that it will make its way through to the media somehow. They'll let us know. And
is it on the Channel 5 version of iPlayer now already? Maybe because sometimes they put the series out there, and it has started again. This latest series. The
old episodes are there, so you can watch. You can head over to is it just called 5 or More 5, something like that, and you can get the Fools and Horses episode. My 5, that's what it's called, My 5,
right.
And you can get all those. Now, if you notice as well, they're listed as being 60 minutes, so I would imagine the 90-minute slot would probably be. I'd say so, wouldn't you, JT? That's about right.
I actually really like Channel 5 because Channel 5 say yes to all the stuff the BBC and ITV and Channel 4 won't touch, like the incredible version of All Creatures Great and Small and lots of other stuff that are coming onto TV right now. So I like to support Channel 5. And they don't produce a lot of their own stuff like everybody else. This is an independent production just as much as a lot of the other stuff is. Charlotte's back. Can you talk to us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hello.
You're loud and clear.
Welcome back.
Sorry, folks.
Reboot.
That's quite all right. So what do you think about this? What do you think about this documentary then, Charlotte? Are you going to watch it?
Well, to be honest, I'm a bit miffed because if they're going to take it completely out of context, like we were talking about, all the stuff of that era, like things have changed a lot in production, in what was seen as okay. So to now try and do that with today's lens, to look at the past, that's always been my issue nowadays with people looking back. So I'm just hoping that it's just a good documentary more than let's sort of put our nose up at what went before. That's what I would hope it doesn't do. So we'll see. It could go either way. It really could land. We don't know yet. That's the bigger thing here, I think.
It depends, Charlotte, what they actually found out. Because if you do watch the Carry On one, it was a lot of stuff that we knew already.
Exactly.
To be honest.
Yeah, and suppose
60-minute format.
Yeah, and I suppose we do know now more about, for example, J&T's era stuff because of the books, because of certain people have spoke about the practices that went on. So that's why also but
you've got it. But that worries me as well because so much of that isn't true. Or
whether they take that and take, but that's why I also think they probably won't touch New Who because there's still a lot of people that would get their noses out of joint.
And sue them.
If they talked about
there's also people that can answer back. William Hartnell, bless him, can't answer back. Neither can John Nathan Turner. And this is what worries me about this. Paul Murray's correct when he said these kind of programs take things out of context. Context is all. That's what worries me about this. And I actually love Channel 5 as well. I'm not criticising Channel 5. I actually think they're far better than the BBC these days because they actually produce some brilliant documentaries. But this one does worry me somewhat because it's a Doctor Who is a very easy target to take out of context because it is 60 years old. And Charlotte's right in that respect. That's what worries me.
Because they could single out certain stories, couldn't they, for what are not just outdated attitudes or language, but choices, production choices. You know, the certain fact that actors, there were considerably fewer actors of different ethnic groups working in Britain at that time, and so they couldn't. They simply couldn't.
So they did what they had to, and I think anybody with a brain understands that. But if you've got an agenda,
we'll see.
Yeah, I do. I mean, there is a certain subject that I do hope they might clear up. That's something that I kind of hope they do, because I've heard all sorts of stuff about John Pertwee's era. I heard all sorts. When I went to a Hooray event here where I live, I went up to a kiosk and I bought just sort of like a portrait of John Pertwee because the Third Doctor is my favourite Doctor. And so I'd heard all sorts of stuff from the guy behind the kiosk just telling me that John Pertwee was really not liking being in the part, was wanting more money and all sorts to be in the show longer. So, and I've heard all sorts of, back and forth, you know, that after Roger Delgado had died, who played the original Master, that he, you know, after he died, that John Pertwee didn't want to be in the part because they were like brothers, so they didn't want to be. So John Pertwee didn't want to be in the part after that. So, like, I've heard all sorts of things about John Pertwee. So, I if anything, I hope that the documentary series, rather than, you know, scrutinizing the past, might try and clear some stuff up, make fans, you know, kind of be like, okay, this is how it went, okay, from all the research and all the eyewitnesses that we've talked to. This is how it's been, this is how it was. So if anything, I hope it tells the truth rather than just tries to dig into the past, you know.
I think
well, all you have to do is actually tune into this show every week, and Simon and I will tell you, because we've been around this show a long time.
Every single one of those questions here and now, if we had the time.
They're after making clickbait TV. That's what they're going to do, and they're going to dig to the deepest crap, aren't they? That's what they're going to do.
You know as well as I do, Ian. I agree with you, because the Only Fools and Horses one got fabulous ratings for Channel 5 for that show.
It did, yeah.
And I believe the Carry On one got 4 million. Which was last week or the week before, something like that recently. So it does quite well. But I think it helps that there's absolutely bugger all on the other channels that people want to watch. So they're going to watch that if they're staying in on a Saturday night. So, but, you know, there you go. I don't think people need to worry. I think it'd be very entertaining.
Yeah, let us know. When we see it, we'll let you know. But if you see it first, let us know by all means. And please get in touch. Leave us a comment if you're looking forward to that show. Your thoughts on secrets and scandals. Are people taking it all a little bit too seriously? It's a bit of fun, and at the end of the day, it's more publicity for Doctor Who in the 60th anniversary year too, isn't it? And it'll maybe reach people who, you know, maybe they haven't been watching Doctor Who for a while. Maybe they'd never watch it at all. You know, maybe they wouldn't watch a documentary that was a bit more sort of a bit less sensational, shall we say. But whatever gets people interacting, thinking about Doctor Who and remembering their love of Doctor Who in this 60th anniversary year, that has to be a good thing, I think, going forward. So, yeah, I can't wait to find out some more, and we'll probably review it when we hear some more about that. I think it wouldn't be, no, this may seem like a bit of a reach, but I'd feel bad doing this show this week if I didn't acknowledge this. Because, obviously we talked about doctors a moment ago, and all our doctors, all our heroes are legends and TV icons. And this week, British television lost a definite TV icon. Paul O'Grady passed away just a couple of days ago at the age of 67. Paul, I know, wasn't a Doctor Who fan as such. He was very much a fan of the Avengers, I understand.
He was a fan.
Oh, he was a Doctor Who fan. He counted himself as a fan.
Yeah, and he'd watched several episodes from his childhood and what have you. But Paul was very much, yes, he was a huge Avengers fan and a huge Corrie fan, but Doctor Who was there with it. He was well aware of the series. He would watch the original series. He'd watched some of the episodes in the new series. So I would say yes, he was, because he was a lovely supporter of it. He even did a skit back on his show back in the BBC days where he played the first female Doctor Who.
In my view, I mean, Paul O'Grady, I think I've said on social media, I can't say that I was a Paul O'Grady fan, but he was the kind of guy where if one of his shows was on, there's some people when they come on TV, you think, oh, blimey, that bloke's got one of those faces you want to slap, or you instantly turn the TV over. You just would never do that with Paul O'Grady. He just had this warmth, didn't he?
Yeah, my mum loved him in Blankety Blank. She thought he was the best thing since sliced bread. She used to laugh at every of his jokes. She, you know, when I told her a couple of days ago that he died, she couldn't believe it. She's like, "What? That guy in Blankety Blank is dead?"
I watched his chat show. I remember when I was like at school,
during the day,
and I'd watch it when it come back from school because he was so like all the other chat show hosts were fake happy and fake sort of everything's brilliant, whereas Paul would just be a bit of he'd come on with the ump, as we would say in my house. He'd come on with like, I'm a bit narked, I'm a bit not happy, and like he'd have a go at some of the people behind the scenes, obviously in a very playful manner. But he'd have a go at them and he'd like tell them to shut up, like don't tell me to stop talking, I've got a guest. Like, and you didn't see that on any other chat shows. He was one of a kind. He really was.
He used to come
always. Yeah. He had Buster, and then he had a few others.
Yeah.
Just look at the
Charlotte, that
comments.
was
Just look at the comment section now, JT. There are so many people saying "Rest in peace, Paul." We got one here from the Geeks Handbag. I'm so glad you mentioned him. And problem being, telling a story here about how he worked front of house for. Lee's told me this story several times. Problem being, worked front of house at the Prisoner Cell Block H show, the musical, which starred Lily Savage, aka Paul O'Grady. Met him a number of times, and he was lovely. I know several people who met Paul and who all say similar things. Firstly, he was pretty much exactly as he was on the TV, but secondly, how genuine he was, JT, how warm he was.
Oh, he was fantastic. I knew Paul sort of from the days where it was Lil, where he was playing Lily, from the pubs in the old days. And one of my friends worked on the chat show, Charlotte, for many moons. He was exactly what you'd expect him to be. He was what he was, and you knew exactly where you stood with him. And there's a story I like to tell. I was there the night he met. No, I won't tell it. Doesn't matter. Carry on.
Apparently, according to Woodhouse 122, Paul's radio producer Malcolm Prince was a massive Doctor Who fan there. So I didn't know that. Now, Paul did appeared in Doctor Who in The Stolen Earth. He was on screen with Buster, Ian. So he was there on screen. That was Yanto in the Torchwood Hub. He was watching Paul just for a little while. And you've got to, there was, to that sketch. Now, we talk about the Lenny Henry sketch quite a lot on this show because a lot of us remember that. But this one from 1997 on Paul O'Grady's show there, that's the one where he was there at Lily Savage as the Doctor.
Gail Tuesday.
Gail Tuesday, Gail Tuesday, Ruby Sunday. Maybe he was ahead of the curve there. But that's up on YouTube to watch in full. I think it's like 6 or 7 minute skit. Very, very funny. There's a lot of in-jokes there. Very loving tribute to Doctor Who. And we've got a tribute too from Russell T. Davis on his Instagram account. Russell said this yesterday. The saddest news. What a man. What a lovely man. He once asked me if he could be in Doctor Who. I just want to wear a white coat and carry a clipboard and walk up and down a corridor saying, I think it's alive, Doctor.
Do you know what? I could so picture him doing that now. I could just picture that.
You kind of wonder why it never happened. Why did that not happen?
They gave him the Stolen Earth thing instead.
Yeah, but you kind of think that they could have managed to get him in somewhere and give him a cameo.
Just think how many celebrities probably wanted cameos in Doctor Who. You can't get them all, unfortunately, as much as we'd love to.
It's all part of the fun, isn't it, James? All part of the fun. Wendology, with the Department of Wendology, as always, they are watching. Says that Paul was such a wonderful, powerful advocate for animal welfare. He will be missed. For all you fans of Paul O'Grady and his show, I hear that his show, For the Love of Dogs, there's a series of that in the can. ITV are still going to screen that. I think it starts in 2 or 3 weeks' time. So, that's a big hit. A lot of people, I don't think you even have to be a dog owner to love dogs, do you, Simon? You've got Lenny there, obviously. Yeah. But do you think Lenny will be watching that for the love of dogs?
Oh, absolutely. He'll be on the front row in front of it. Absolutely. It's a great show. I mean, it just is a great show. It's one of those shows when you watch it, if you don't love dogs at the beginning of it, you sure as hell will by the end of it, because that's what Paul O'Grady did so well. He just imbued everything that he did with such sort of integrity. What I used to love about him was on his Radio 2 show. That was when Radio 2 was good. He was always so honest. He was so dry and with his wit, and he didn't care who he insulted, didn't care what he said. He didn't really fit in very well with the Radio 2 mold because he was quite outspoken, but not in an unpleasant way, just in a typical Paul O'Grady, just deadpan. He just dropped something, and it could be quite offensive, really, but he just did it with such a plum that
that's what you hire him for, isn't it? That's what you hire him for.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what he did. He's one of those. He was, whether you like him or not, he was a unique talent. There's nobody else out there quite like Paul O'Grady.
Because he could also write. If you ever read any of his autobiographies, I'd recommend them. They're brilliant.
They're fabulous. Yeah, fabulous.
Because it's talking about his family, and growing up like in a very rough area and that sort of very working class.
What do you mean rough area? What do you mean rough area, cheeky mare?
All right, I'm a northerner. I can say it.
I'm a northerner too, and no, you can't. Bloody cheeky bitch.
Tony L's watching on YouTube and says, for the love of dogs is a brilliant show. So for all the fans of that, that's back on soon. Obviously, rest in peace, Paul O'Grady. He definitely will be missed. From the love of dogs to the love of Who. That's what brings us here together to talk about all of this with you guys here at Type 40 Live each and every time. This is our big Easter parade show, and we do it all for the love of Who. Not just this, but all the other stuff too. The Type 40 podcast, all that will continue over the break. So all the videos are going up on all the podcatchers wherever you get your podcasts. Get the podcast on in video form here on the Spacebook channel too, as well as Type 40 extra videos now and again exclusively here on the channel when a story breaks or where I've got a bee in my bonnet or we want to talk about something that doesn't quite fit anywhere else. You can come here and subscribe to the channel and get all of that there too, as well as at type40.podbean.com. I don't know if you remember, but we got stuck into Doomsday last week. Everybody remember that?
Why did you have to spoil things?
2 minutes turned into 2 hours. But we do have, later on in the show, we've got some lovely fan art coming up. But we do have this one. This is Grant Perkins has done this fan art for Doom there. And
Must we really?
So, yeah, we've got that. Yeah, I love Grant's stuff. So I was somewhat surprised to see him do this. But, hey, I suppose somebody's got to. More fan art coming up later on in the show, as well as one by a regular viewer of the show who sent it in. So, yeah, it has made it, and we'll get round to it a little later on. Okay. What's next? What's coming up next? Let's hit this and find out. Okay, yeah, so the clocks have gone forward. The days, they're getting longer. And thoughts are turning, Ian, to, even your thoughts must be turning to your holiday plans, Ian.
Holiday plans? Bloody hell. I don't think I've got time for holiday this year. I'm working my ass off every day. Jesus Christ.
Too busy. The Mega Geek is very much in mega demand, aren't you? But for us mere mortals, we're thinking, we're budgeting for maybe our holidays. Or could be if you're scanning for new Doctor Who releases, bits of merchandise or whatever else is coming out. You think, well, okay, shall I go abroad or shall I invest instead in my Doctor Who collection and what could line my shelf in the anniversary year? Fortunately, we have our very own Lord of the Pre-Orders, JT here. He's going to act as our sort of travel agent as we run through some of the latest bits of gold that are ready to be unearthed, to be dug out from the sands at Merchandise Paradise. How does that sound, JT?
It sounds fabulous. And just to let you know, this is a Doomsday Free Zone hit title.
Excellent.
Yes, we're back with Merchandise Paradise.
Was that you pushing it Doomsday into the water? Was it?
I wish I'm not going to be talking about that now. This is Merchandise Paradise, and as ever, all information is correct as we are broadcasting live on today, Thursday. What is it?
30th of March.
30th.
Oh, 30th, there we go.
30th. It's the 20th.
See how polished this show is, James?
We don't even know what the date is.
30th.
What's
I
my
don't
name?
even know the date. I don't even know what year it is right now.
You know what, Facebookers? This is why I hate audience participation. I just can't be done with it. Right, so I'm going to start off by just very, very quickly updating you on something I spoke about twice before Christmas and over the last few weeks, because this is a big Easter catch-up for you here on this Merchandise Paradise. So yes, the cover for the BBC Audio Nightmare Fair, one of the latest in the Target audios, has now been released. The game produced by Alistair Pearson. This is the one that's going to be released on June the 1st. It's £20 for the CD, and there's the cover. So I wanted to acknowledge that because I was talking about it before. There's your cover for it, okay?
That's one of the worst covers I've ever seen in the history of covers. Sorry,
Paul Collins Baker's face.
That's terrible. They're not seriously going to release that.
You're not alone there. This didn't go down too well, did it, JT? I saw a lot of criticism of this. What's your take on it?
I don't mind it, and having seen Alistair's response to the criticism, I respect it because it is based on the original book, which is that. If we can cut to that. There we go. There's the original book there. So he's doing now. Part of what's going to be happening here now with this is that they are going to be releasing on audio over the next few years. They're going to be also releasing Mission to Magnus and The Ultimate Evil as part of the target ranges, because that was them there. They are coming to audio, and what the plan is, according to Alistair. Ta-da! What the plan is, according to Alistair, is each of the covers will have a version of Colin Baker to link them. So they will alter slightly according to Alistair. So I don't mind it. I think it's going to be attractive. At least it's got the Doctor back on the cover. And yeah, I'm going to move on with that one right now.
I saw his explanation as well. And as a designer myself, as an illustrator myself, it does make a sort of sense. But I do understand why people may have been, what? So I'm sort of midway about it. I get it, Alistair. I get it.
Yeah, and I think that, and also he's an artist who's just doing what he's told. They wanted a picture of Colin Baker on the cover, and that's what's going to happen with the next two, and they've got it.
But it's a terrible picture of Colin. Sorry, had to say it.
Right. We are going to stay on a 1st of June release, because if you are of a certain vintage, Dan, back to me.
Oh.
Back to me. If you have these in your collection, these are the infamous Making of Doctor Who books. This one was published by Bacallo. Back in the day, it was 25 pence, Facebookers, and this one was 60 pence from the Target range. These are the Making of Doctor Who's, and as you've just seen there, this is the cover, because it is going on to CD and download, released on the 1st of June, using the Doctor Who monster book cover. So what the blurb is saying in here is, it's the 1970s and you're invited back to behind the scenes of Doctor Who. You will go on location to witness the recording of 2 classic television adventures, which are the Sea Devils and Robot from the original books. And you will spend time inside the vintage BBC television studio, which really makes me feel awful because I remember them. And you'll also learn how to write a script or make a monster. So this is obviously based on the books by Terence Dix and Malcolm Hulke, and what they're going to be doing here. Along the way, you'll hear some of the Doctor's key early adventures recounted as Time Lord records, unit memos, and other in-story documentation. It's brought to life by an array of familiar Doctor Who voices, which are John Culshaw, Dan Starkey, Maureen O'Brien, Louise Jameson, Katie Manning, and Jeffrey Beavers. This is going to be due, well, you can pre-order it right now. It's going to be out on the 1st of June. And it's 205 minutes in length. For CD, it's £15 recommended retail price. And your download, it's going to be $7.99 from all the usual stockists.
I can't understand. Sorry to go on about covers, but I can't understand why they use the monster book artwork when they've got the original. They could have used that one on the one on the left with Tom. Yeah. That's just perfect artwork for that. Why use the monster book cover? I don't get it.
I have no idea. It's a very good question. I was a bit mystified as well, but there we go. That's the one they've gone for. But it just means that they couldn't do a version of the monster book, could they? Unless they used the cover.
Seriously, they need to get a graphic designer who can actually design something. That is just shocking. I'm sorry to go on about these, but these are terrible covers. Sorry.
Well, they just need new covers for stuff, just not recycling the old covers from yesteryear.
Yeah, I would agree. But also, I mean, look at the layout of that, the making of to the left. It's just hideous. It's hideous.
I agree.
It's that BBC thing. That BBC logo, they can't move. And why have they put it? I sort of get it, but it does mean that you're very restricted, because it should say the making of Doctor Who. Yeah. And the BBC logo further up there, and you can't shift it. So it does look a bit odd, doesn't it? It looks a bit like
very odd.
Yeah.
We've had several people asking, why are they making audiobooks? Several people in the chat are asking that, and people in the fandom have been asking, how could they make an audiobook of this? And it does seem like a strange one. But I actually, JT, I'm quite excited by this. I think this could be diverting listening. I think it's quite a creative idea. So I am sort of up for this, but I do sort of share your feeling about the cover, Simon. I have to admit.
It looks like a demo. It looks like a mock-up. That's what it looks like. It doesn't look like a finished cover.
Are you a collector, James? Would you buy any of these? Would you add any of these to your collection, or have you ditched the CD and you only go for downloads? What's your choice?
Well, see, the thing is, it's been quite a few years since I've really collected anything. I do have quite a collection of classic series DVDs myself, but personally, it's been quite a while since I've collected anything vintage or anything, pertaining to the
Yeah.
classic era. Just listening to you guys, I feel like I'm a lesser Doctor Who fan. In all fairness, you guys seem to put this into so much detail, into so much passion, and well, I feel like a sham of a Doctor Who fan personally.
There's no such thing.
It's been a while since I've collected anything. The last thing I ever bought was what I mentioned before, like the John Pertwee portrait. That was literally the last thing I bought.
Lovely.
That's
That's a nice thing to buy. I just want to answer that. Is this a draft? No, it's not. That is the actual cover. It's the actual cover for it. I'm actually quite pleased about this. For those that are saying, why are they doing this? Because it's history, and you've got Doctor Who at the BBC, which is also history, and that's the audio take. The making of Doctor Who books were actually groundbreaking back in the day, because you didn't get any books at all about television programs to that extent. So to have them revitalized and put that, it's a bit like, from my point of view, I mean, I'm going to get this, but from my point of view, it is a little bit of history to, hear it. And it's great for those people that haven't been able to read these because they've got sight loss or they've got problems or what have you, or they just weren't around to get them. Although, having said that, you can still get these 2 books if you look around for them. Try your charity shops.
Yeah,
right.
Sold so well, didn't they? They're still everywhere. What's next, JT?
What's next is a cover that Simon, when he returns, may actually like. Now, if I do want to say thank you to all the people that have been getting in touch with me to say thank you very much for the vinyl coverage. I get a lot of that. They are being sold and people are collecting them, so you're very, very welcome. And the last edition and the last story in the Nest Adventures is coming out very soon. Now, this is the BBC Studios or the BBC radio series starring Tom Baker. This is Serpent Crest. This is the 3rd series, which previous stories were Hornet's Nest and Demon Quest, which we have featured on these Merchandise Paradise before. And as you can see, that is the cover right there for this. And beautiful. I hope you like that one, because I
love that. That is stunning.
Yeah, it's good.
That's more like what they should be doing. As Charlotte says, they need some new artwork, and that's it. That's just brilliant.
Yeah, because that's creative. That's creative. You can see a vision.
On.
And can you imagine this? Because what this is the 3rd and final version in the Nest series starring Tom Baker. We had a yellow one, you had a green one, you had a yellow one, a red one, and this one now green. They're going to look stunning together. I love the way that they've put the continuity together. They are going to look absolutely gorgeous. Now, this is 5 classic stories here, which, as usual, includes a print signed by Tom Baker. This is the first time on vinyl, and you're getting 10 times 140 green and black vinyls there, as you can see. Now, notice on the cards there's a little Patrick Troughton sketch there. Isn't that fabulous?
Yeah, it's great.
Well, this is Demon Records presenting the 3rd and final series of the Nest Cottage audio trilogy, starring Tom Baker as the Doctor. It's limited to just 1,200 copies. It's a full cast audio adventure by Paul Mars, and it co-stars Susan Jameson as Mrs. Wibsey, and again Richard Franklin as Mike Yates. And get this supporting cast. If you hadn't heard this on the audio CDs that came out a few years ago, you've got David Troughton, Michael Jaston, Simon Shepherd, Terence Hardiman, Joanna David, Sophie Ward, Andrew Sachs, and Nerys Hughes, with original sound design accompanying the familiar Doctor Who theme from the BBC Radiophonic Workshop. Right, so this is obviously for the vinyl collectors out here. This is the last one. It comes out on the 26th of May 2023, as you can see there. And I'll just go through this. What you can see there is the die cut removable outer sleeve with a Skishtari infested box lid, which I think is brilliantly camp. Inside are 10 individual beautifully illustrated LP slides featuring cast and credits, feature the 5 stories, a 16-page full color booklet, and the Doctor's unique notes and illustrations made during the course of the 5 serpent infested adventures. So within the box set, you're getting all 5 of the Serpent Crest stories. So there we go. Yes, fabulous. I hope you like that one, and you can get it now, as I say. It's coming out. I'm just trying to find the price for you, and I can't find it now. Hang on, I've got it here. It's a recommended retail price of $154.99.
Wow. People are wowed by this artwork. I mean, Simon, you're not a big fan of digital art, but that one, it seems to be, because obviously it is digital, but it's got a touch of flair about it, doesn't it? I think that's why people are responding the same way in the live chat. People seem to really like this. But we've got a comment here from the Geeks Handbag who says, I've actually seen this physical product, and trust me, the whole package is stunning. But several people have remarked about the fact that we've got JT, and not just the diamond logo that one would associate with Tom Baker, but on the sticker there that's inset into it in a rectangle bears the Chibnall era logo, and people are asking why two logos. Why? Now, in my experience as somebody who works in design and packaging, it's probably likely is that those stickers were probably printed months ago.
Yes.
Is that what you would think as well, JT?
Well, absolutely, but it's also continuity with the previous two, which had the same format and the same style, excuse me, as that one. And we know what we as Doctor Who fans are like. There has to be continuity. So the logos have to stay the same. The presentation has to stay the same. Otherwise, they get fan. Now, they've actually learned, BBC Studios, who previously were BBC Worldwide, learned from the mistakes when it came to the VHS videos all those years ago when they changed the covers halfway through the run because we didn't like it and we let them know. Yeah. So that's why they've learned, and that's why you're getting that little sticker. But I also think, yes, they would have been produced a while ago, and they've just printed them off. So there you go. So there's your last one for the next series, and I hope you enjoyed them. If you're going to buy that, well done on you. Just a little addition.
People are in shock about the price tag, but I think there's prestige items and there's not so prestige items. It's good that Doctor Who merchandise has that variety, I think, JT.
Well, it is, and actually they are selling. So that's why they've come up with this. There are more coming in the next year as well, of other things coming. We know about the Amazing World of Doctor Who. That's already been done on Merchandise Paradise a couple of times, and they do sell because the collectors do like them. So there you go. It's all things for everyone. There you have it.
Exactly.
I just want to sneak in very, very quickly a CD that's on the way, coming out on 7th of December and available to pre-order now, is Neil Bushnell. And he's written an original audio story for CD, which will be the 13th Doctor's first foray into the audio novels. And this is called the Romanov Project. There you are. Okay, we're going to...
Can't quite place 13.
All right, okay. We're going to go check out the future of the bookshelf right now. And before we show any graphics, I want to give you this as well, because this blurb is hilarious. You've never seen a Doctor Who annual quite like this. Yes, it is the Doctor Who Annual 2024. It's on the way. This is the holding cover for it. It's going to be released on the 17th of September. It's 64 pages. And the blurb is, in November 2023, Doctor Who will return to our screens with an almighty TARDIS crashing bang. David Tennant is back as the Doctor. Catherine Tate is back as the incredible Donna Noble. And this celebration of 60 years of Doctor Who really is just the beginning. The Doctor Who 24 Annual is the place to start this incredible journey, with exclusive information about this amazing new era, including behind-the-scenes photos, dialogue, costumes, and hints from the forthcoming 2024 episodes. It even includes a never-seen-before 14th Doctor story and a sneak peek at the long-awaited 15th Doctor. This reminds me some more of the late 80s annuals that John Nathan Turner got hold of and started to input in, because they were starting to do behind the scenes features of makeup and hair and camera and all this sort of stuff that was coming into it. So it reminds me a little bit of that. So this will be available to pre-order from next week, from the Broadcasting Live, and out on the 17th of September. It's $9.99.
Well, it's
I do
like
hope that they managed to do something special.
It's nice to see the production actually getting involved in some products again, more than anything. It's nice to see actually that relationship back, how it should be, in my eyes. There should be Russell, and people should be having that closeness, that you get exclusive things or little behind the scenes looks.
The official annual should be a big deal, shouldn't it, Charlotte? It should.
Yeah, the annual should be a big deal, and it should be actually even. I'm not one for annuals, but even that blurb got me interested. So it's done its job.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that, Charlotte, because I wasn't sure whether or not I should read it out. So I'm glad you like that bit. And who knows, they may actually sell some copies this year.
They might.
Anyway, right. So I'm going to move on, staying on the bookshelf. I'm actually just going to briefly look at some stuff that I'm calling the Decades novels. That's not the official title. I've come up with that myself because I didn't know how else to describe them. But coming out on the 26th of October, you have some hardback books, which the BBC are saying are a little bit different. You've got the 60s book by Jacqueline Rayner, the 70s book by Natasha Suri, the 1980s book by Mark Griffiths. You've got the 1990s book by Dave Rudden and the 2000s book by Kaylin Bayron. Now, these are all books that are inspired, apparently, by the decade. So, for example, in the 60s book, it's Christmas 1963. It's a fiction there, except it looks a bit different. When 6-year-old Gerald starts playing a new game called Daleks. It's a game full of dangers and daring and terrible mutated monsters. Gerald's parents think it's harmless at first, but then things start getting out of hand as Gerald insists there are Yetis in the basement and Cybermen invading London. So desperate for help, what Gerald's family really needs right now is a doctor. There are all these sorts of things. In the 1970s book, excuse me, you're getting a tall, grumpy man with white hair. That could be anybody, but I'm imagining it. In the 1980s book, you're getting the Doctor and Romana. In the 1990s book, you're getting the Doctor and Donna. And in the 2000s book, you're getting the Doctor and Rose. I have to say as well that the BBC Studios, your blurb was full of spelling mistakes and very bad grammar. I just want you to know that. I had to rewrite it so I could read it out. So I just want you to know. Proofread things.
A lot of the time they are. This sounds quite high concept, doesn't it, for Doctor Who novels? I mean, Simon, this is at least thinking a little bit more conceptually, and particularly in the anniversary year, something that speaks of the legacy of Doctor Who. And it sounds novel, doesn't it?
I get hurt novel. Do you see what you did there? There's a joke and you didn't. Anyway, yeah, I mean, in many ways, these just sound though very, very similar to sort of the BBC books of the sort of late 90s, early 2000s. You know, things like The Eight Doctors by Terence Dicks. That's what these kind of things sound like, which is all good. You know, I'm not against that. I'm not certain quite how novel, to use the cliche again, it's actually going to be. You know, it could just. I don't know. It's difficult. Time will tell on that one, definitely.
I didn't recognise any of the writers' names, JT. So I mean, that could be a good thing. Could be a bad thing.
Jacqueline Rayner, you will do, because she's written for the TV series as well as the novels. She's done lots and lots of novels. She's written for the TV show.
She's a good one. So if she's writing one, I'll probably look and see which one that one would be. Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of blurbs for this, but obviously we don't have the time to go through them all. But I would go and have a look. They come out on the 26th of October. You can pre-order them right now. They're $9.99 each. They are 240 pages in each one, okay, in each book. So you've got those. Okay, all right. So in a similar vein, coming out on the 12th of October is 10 Festive Tales from the 10th Doctor. Now, this is written by a name that we will know. It's Steve Cole that's put this together. This also includes an exclusive story featuring the 14th Doctor. I'll give you the blurb for this one very quickly. The Doctor's 10th incarnation was hilarious, furious, fun, vengeful, and he also had great hair. He also saved the world and the universe more times than anyone can remember, but from the Christmas invasion to the Runaway Bride, things always seem to need saving around the festive season. So follows a series of 10 incredible tales across the universe as the Doctor, Rose, Martha, and Donna battle aliens and cross the boundaries of space and time to save Christmas Day. From a future Earth department store overrun by killer toys to a gold rush of a distant white dwarf star, get ready for 10 incredible adventures from the 10th Doctor, and a much later regeneration even has a tale to tell. Available to pre-order now. It will hit the shelves on the 12th of October. This is 240 pages and it is $12.99 hardback.
That's the run-up to the anniversary specials there, isn't it? Because we won't have any dates on those for a while, but obviously you get this in. You've got a few weeks. Even a slow reader like me might finish this off between...
I think that's a great way of putting that. I actually looked at this as a run-up to the Christmas sales.
That too.
Get your stocking fillers in now. Get that in there. This is what that's about. This is getting to the presents board from October onwards. That's quite interesting. But there you go. So off the bookshelf now and into the toys, because you may have heard of a little company that's been around for over 100 years called Syfy, and they've announced in the last couple of weeks that they are producing a limited edition bear, and it's the first Doctor. Look at that.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
To celebrate 60 years of the legendary Time Lord from Gallifrey, the master craftsmen and women at Steph Bears have created a special limited edition collector bear, officially authorized by BBC Worldwide and available exclusively from Danbury Mint, who some of you may know. This is homage to the show's very first episode, An Unearthly Child, which was recorded in black and white, and therefore this entire bear is monochrome, including the outfit. He's got a soft platinum grey fur, which is made of genuine mohair, one of the most beautifully, sustainably sourced natural fibres in the world. All his features have been delicately stitched by hand, and like all the very best collector bears, he's 5-way jointed so you can pose him easily. The final finishing touch is now the official 60th anniversary logo emblazoned proudly on his right paw pad. There are only 1,963. 1963.
Hey, hey.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
There you go. There are only 1,963 bears that can ever be made for worldwide demand, honouring the year that the time-travelling Doctor first hit the British television screens.
I dread to think how much these are retailing at. Do we have a price?
We do. I'll come to that in a sec.
Okay.
The bear show, but you better brace yourself. The bear show is an artist impression, and the actual bear may actually vary, of course, but it's approximately 28 centimetre tall. Now, Steiff bears, of course, are renowned across the world. These are incredibly rare bears eventually. They are collectible. You can get them from danburymint.co.uk/bears, and they retail at £325.
Oh, actually, I was expecting more than that. I genuinely was.
It's a lot of money, though.
If anybody's watching the show and wants to send me a birthday present, that's what I want.
I think we have to ask James.
I thought this guy was expensive.
Well, he was. Absolutely, he was. Don't you worry about that. He was expensive.
He's only a Build-A-Bear.
How much was that one, James? Put us in context.
Oh, bloody hell. I got it for Christmas, but I think it was something around well over 100 quid, something like that.
Really?
I thought that was expensive.
And if you want more information on that, go back and look at the previous Merchandise Paradise segments from last year, because you will see that we covered them, or I covered them here on Merchandise Paradise, and Sarah was mad about them. She was absolutely mad. Oh, I can't believe it. She even sent me a picture of one she bought, which I thought was quite weird at 3 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, that's that bit there for you. What I've got here for you now, I'm going to move on. I'd just like to say hello to Keith. Hello, Keith. How are you? Are you there? Probably not, but hello, Keith. Nice to see you. The latest in Real-Time Pictures Doctor on Display series is available to pre-order now. Now, this series is award-winning, by the way, and it covers the Museum of Classic Sci-Fi with Neil. It covers Longleat, and today you can get the Llangollen out today. Llangollen is out today as we are broadcasting, but this one is the next one that's going to be available on the 1st of May. This is Doctor Who on Display, and this is a documentary presented about the original and very fondly remembered by many of us Doctor Who Blackpool exhibition, which ran from 1974 to 1985. Very, very special, happy days for lots of us. So this is definitely one that you want to have, I'm sure, if you remember the Blackpool exhibition #1.
I have to get this range, obviously, because Keith Barnfather, I think we can class Keith as a friend of the show. He's been on 2 or 3, if not more, shows, hasn't he, Simon, with us? And he's always, it's quality productions, always fun, and very inventive as well he is too. So yeah, I'm going to have to get these, not least of all because, as you said, Neil Cole's been involved with so many of them too. And Neil's also a friend of the show. So, yeah, obviously we wish Keith and Neil and everybody else involved with this. Well,
we've also got Alex involved with this and Paul involved with this, all of whom have been on as well from their Blackpool. Everybody's involved with this. You can get it from timetraveltv.com to pre-order this one now. The others are all available right now. Keith is also this week hinting, well, it's a fact that Blackpool exhibition #2 is in the works, but he's also hinting... and this I thought was funny, he's hinting that he may do one about the Doctor Who travelling tour bus that left Britain in 1986 to go to America for a few years. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, surely even Keith Barnfather can't track that down.
Well, I think most of the props are back now, but I think that would be quite nice. You can talk to Andrew and stuff about his artwork, couldn't you? But this one is a definite to have because, of course, the Blackpool exhibition over 10 years was the mainstay for an entire generation. And many of us went year after year after year after. Ask me mother, she wasn't impressed. Year after year, can we go to Blackpool? So that's fine. So you can get this from timetraveltv.com. It's going to be available, as Dan said there, from the 1st. However, if you are going to Blackpool for the Doctor Who convention, Invasion Blackpool, then you will be able to see this the day before as a premiere on the Northwest's largest LED screen at Viva Blackpool. And of course, the gang, which is Keith and everybody there, they're going to be there at the show as well, presenting and talking about this with the audience. We want memories that are kind of coming along in that as well. So that's going to be there. If you're going to be getting it from the Blackpool event, the DVD is £10. And of course, you get to speak to Keith and the team. If you're getting it from the website, timetraveltv.com, it's £11.50 and it's available to pre-order right now.
This one is going down very well in the chat. I think that Blackpool exhibition, I mean, we've talked about it several times, haven't we, Simon? We've had several podcasts and conversations about this. It just makes people go instantly misty-eyed.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
well, you know, I'm a huge fan of the Longleat and Blackpool exhibitions. So I still haven't jumped on board with these videos yet at the DVD. So I've got to get them as well. Must be honest.
Yeah. I mean, the libraries, the Longleat one, Simon, it's out there already now. So yeah,
absolutely.
It's Doctor Who history, and for those that didn't know them, you've got to have them because you've got to see why we get excited about them. You know, the ambience and atmosphere and fabulousness as well. And just to let you know as well, if you want to see that premiere on the day, on the Sunday the 30th of April, you can get tickets for the Invasion Blackpool at vivablackpool.com. And finally, for this edition of Merchandise Paradise, I would just like to, say to Jonathan Randall, first of all, well done. But how would you like to relive Doctor Who's Radio Times heydays? Yes, Jonathan has put together a complete encyclopedia, a full history of Doctor Who as told through the pages of the legendary Radio Times between 1963 and 1989. Now, these have full listings, covers, articles, original photographs, and things that never were. Oh. This has all been compiled by Jonathan Randall. You can get this right now. You can get the first, the second, definitely. I think the third's about to drop or is coming. And then the fourth Doctor era is coming. As I say, it's all 1963 to 89. You can get this from www.doctorwhointheradiotimes.com. That's doctorwhointheradiotimes.com. And you're going to like this, Simon. They're free of charge.
Woohoo! Wow. What an absolute hero for doing that. We need to get him on the show. Let's get him on the show.
Yeah, I'm working on him. Brilliant. This is right up my street.
Yeah.
Obviously, I only stopped buying the Radio Times a few years ago, when I gave up my TV license, and the history of the Radio Times and its connection to Doctor Who. Yeah, I can't wait to put my nose into these. Even Ian was impressed by that. Yeah. Say the word free and totally does.
I love the Pertweed one.
Ears prick up.
Yeah. I'd like to get the Pertweed.
Yeah, that Pertweed one is great because obviously these are covers that never were. So this is what you're talking about, JT. He's doing things that speculative things that might have been and weren't.
I think there's a lot of that in there. Yeah. I think there's a lot of that in there. But I have to say, Mr. Randall, Jonathan, how fabulous of you, because these things wouldn't have been easy to research and put together. And to have it for free from Doctor Who in the radiotimes.com, what a gift for Doctor Who fans. I highly recommend them. I've looked at the William Hartnell one. I'm blown away by this. Well done, Jonathan. What a love you are. Fabulous work.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
And Jack Thursby says, is there a link to those? Remind us again, JT, where do we get those from?
Okay, get ready with your pens. Stand by your TARDISes. It's www.doctorwhointheradiotimes.com. Okay, doctorwhointheradiotimes.com. And again, just Time Travel TV for Keith for his DVDs, for the exhibitions, for Doctor on Display. Fabulous. That's it for this bumper Easter edition of Merchandise Paradise. I hope it was worth the wait to everybody that was emailing me or messaging me saying, where is it? Where's Merchandise Paradise? Thank you so much for choosing to watch. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please share it. And yes, there's some ideas for you to spend your hard-earned grotsits on. Thank you for watching.
As always, I'll make sure that the links to those things that people are asking for are in the description of the video and the show notes of the podcast version too, so you can follow up on JT's marvellous recommendations there. As always, JT, thank you so much for putting all of those wonderful, wonderful things together. And we'll. I think we should head back now to the main chat. Where are we? Let's hit. Yeah, the facilities are top notch at Merchandise Paradise. There's, they won't have you pissing in the pool there, Ian. You know, not
Would you watch your language?
and but the good news is, if you've been holding it in, now is the time to break the seal. It's time for the Type 40 Doctor Who ad break. You're going to love this, James. You're going to love this, everybody. So this is the bit where, you know, if you've been holding it in, you can hose the smallest room in your TARDIS. He's already off. He's under starters orders. The rest of you enjoy these golden moments from Doctor Who figures from the past. This is the ad break. We'll see you back in a couple of minutes.
You big idiot! Oh, hello, you all right? Look what you've done to my car! Nobody's fault, old man. I was taking Mother to Clacton. Ah, yes, I'm off to the Isle of Skye myself. Look at it! Oh, no problem. General accident will see to that. Who?
Even the most careful driver can run into a spot of bother. The General Accident Comprehensive Policy is the only one which automatically gives you a Godfrey Davis car, absolutely free. The car is yours for up to a fortnight, while your own is off the road.
Hello, darling. Just got to make a quick phone call. May I introduce Mr. He's going to Clacton. Or rather, he isn't.
What a beautiful day. The sun is shining, the birds are singing. Life couldn't be better.
Oasis is a refreshing blend of still spring water and natural fruit juice that gets you back to your old self.
Pat. Oh, Pat. What have you done, Pat?
Oasis, open paw, be yourself once more.
One Roundtree's fruit pastille. Steady. A lot of flavour in there, must not chew. Little lad like you, gotta be careful. He's chewing it. I knows he is. Bite into that crispy, sugary bit, and you was into the real fruit flavour. You chewed!
Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, yes, he did! I couldn't help it. All that flavour.
Self-control, lovely boy.
Roundtree's fruit pastilles. Irresistible.
I bet you think those girls are gorgeous.
Oh, there's only one lady in my life.
But what if you could go out with any girl in the world?
Oh, I love you.
I'm offering you Kelly Brook on a plate here.
Not interested.
Tess Daly.
No.
I won't get upset. It's only a game.
Claire from work. Oh, aye.
Hey, yes, so welcome back to Type 40 Live, your live stream magazine format Doctor Who show, clocking all the fixed and not so fixed points across the Whoniverse, both off and on screen, whether you prefer the fourth or the fifth dimensions. I'm here with the panel. We've lost Charlotte Shields. She's had to scoot off. Yes, so Charlotte, hope you feel better next time. Enjoy your Easter break. I know she's got lots of nice things planned over the next week or two. I'm sure she'll materialise back in due course and hopefully feeling a lot better. So yeah, that was the ad break. See any faces you recognise there, James, from Doctor Who back in the past, in the distant past?
What, in the ads?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I recognised that it was Paul O'Grady's voice in the in one of the adverts.
Pat.
Paul O'Grady was in one of the ads there, so that kind of made me go a bit. Made me sad a little bit, and yeah, wasn't there one? It was in one of the adverts there. I can't remember his name.
Wow.
But he was in. Had a funny mustache, sort of like a voice like that. I saw him. He was in quite a lot of Carry On films that I watched growing up.
That's right. Well, I'm gonna put you out of your misery now, and I'm gonna let you know who they all were. So yeah, we've got George A. Cooper. He was in the car insurance ad there, and you probably would have seen him on Grange Hill. If you're an 80s kid, he was the caretaker on Grange Hill for a long time, but also turned up in things like Minder and the Sweeney, Ian, and some others do have him. He was in practically everything back then, wasn't he? Do you remember that face and that bald head, very distinctive?
Yeah, he was very much a part of the circle, the BBC ITV circle.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, good
Yeah, but
actor.
he got into a fracas with John Cleese, didn't he? There, and John Cleese obviously had that cameo in City of Death back in 1980 under the stage name Kim Bread, I think it was.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun when they all ran into the TARDIS and it disappeared. Yeah, it was quite funny.
Marvelous stuff. I still forget that he's in that, Simon, until that last, because obviously that story's so enjoyable. I get so wrapped up in it, and this is like the icing on the cake or a cherry on the top, even, isn't it?
And you kind of think only in City of Death could this pair have actually turned up that they'd have got away with it. I don't think they'd have got away with it in any other story somehow. You can't imagine it in Robots of Death, can you? For example,
I think they could have got away with it in any story of that season.
Well, there's an argument, I guess, for that, but it's so perfectly pitched in City of Death because City of Death is just so off the wall and so anarchic. It just seems completely perfect. And I can still remember watching it as a kid, and I didn't really know who John Cleese was, but I definitely I was aware of him. I probably couldn't have named him at that point, but I was certainly aware of him. So as soon as you popped up, you were aware you were watching somebody that your parents knew, kind of thing. And it's just a brilliant moment. It's just so beautifully played. But actually, Eleanor Bron, who's the one that carries it away for me with her exquisite lines.
Yeah,
wonderful. And if you think that's a blink and you'll miss it moment, you're probably wondering where on earth you saw Mike Reed in Doctor Who. He was in the War Machines for literally 3 or 4 seconds on screen, where he was pretty much an extra. It was one of a number of shows that he appeared in the 60s, because Mike Reed was and always had been an actor before he was a stand-up comedian, and decades before he was Frank Butcher on EastEnders, one of my all-time favourite soap characters, and recapturing the same character, Ian, as you rightly identified in that drinks ad.
Yeah, but he also was in the greatest kids show on earth, Run Around.
Run Around.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah.
You didn't dare run in the wrong direction, or you would definitely get a dry slap. You'd get a shouting at from Windsor Davis on It Ain't Half Hot Man, of course, all the way through the 70s. That sitcom from the writers of Dad's Army. But years before, in 67, he'd been in The Evil of the Daleks, in a really quite a small part there. Obviously, he was a bit part actor then, but he was in that advert with his co-star from It Ain't Half Hot Mummy, and that was Donna Estelle, wasn't it?
Yeah, they went to #1, didn't they, with some song?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Spring Grass.
And also,
them on Top of the Pops.
Yeah, also he did the voice for one of those robots in Terrorhawks.
Yes, that's right. He did.
Sergeant Major Zero. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And we finished off with Peter Kay, stand-up comedian and actor, sitcom writer, and all-round good guy. I think he's one
of the worst episodes, though.
Wasn't it? Was Peter Kay. Well, he was Victor. I can't remember the character's name. Victor Crosby. Was it in
it's so
Love and Monsters?
Yeah, I hated that episode. Hated that episode. I thought it's absolute nonsense. It's a shame because he's really funny, this fella. But
he is. He's very funny guy. A great advert too, and it's the ads that count here on the Type 40 Doctor Who ad break. And it's a bit of a favourite of mine. That he doesn't. I think the John Smith stuff was the main campaign that he's done. I don't think he, generally speaking, does many adverts. But you Peter Kay fan, James?
Yeah. I mean, I love Peter Kay. With Simon, I think is the one who said it. Or was it you, Ian? Sorry, I'm still learning names. I apologise.
Of course.
But about Love and Monsters, didn't like that episode. I'm not a big fan of Love and Monsters either. But I've loved and grown up with a lot of his shows. A lot of his comedy series and stuff. Car Share. I particularly loved as well. All of his stand-ups and so forth. Yeah, I've loved pretty much everything that Peter Kay has done. I really tried my best to try and get to his recent live show. That when he made a triumphant return back to stand-up after quite a few years of being away. So I did try and get to one of his stand-ups. So yeah, I am a fan. Just not a fan of him coming into Doctor Who as a monster anytime soon.
It's a stinker. It is an absolute stinker of an episode. There's nothing good about it.
It is. And I don't know whether that's because they let a kid design the bloody monster, or whether that was just because
a bad script.
Yeah, it's just a stinker. It's terrible.
I think someone got the writer and was like, "What, you're letting a kid create the monster? Okay, I'm not trying very hard on the script then." But I think it was a pretty cute thing because the kid did it on like Blue Peter or something.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware, James, but that's actually the second time Blue Peter had done a Design the Monster competition. But back in '67, they did it the right way. The monster did not go into the series.
Correct.
It was made by the BBC visual effects team and put on Blue Peter. It didn't go in the show. And Patrick Troughton came around saying, "Ooh, boo, ah, jelly babies, ah," and that was that. Whereas this time around, they had the wonderful idea to say, let's get a kid to design this thing and put an episode around it, which it didn't work. Let's face it.
Of course, the irony of it is that Russell T Davies was the one who wrote the episode, and he chose the winner of the monster. So he knew when he chose the Absorbloff, he'd got to write the story around it. What were you thinking, Russell? What were you thinking?
It's so embarrassing. It was that episode that made me think, what are you doing? Some of the context of the suggestions I did not find funny at all. I thought, no, this is not Doctor Who. Keep this
true.
What have I done, everybody? This is almost as controversial as Doomsday. Let us know what you think of Love and Monsters in the live chat, of course. Where do you stand on that story? Let us know in the comment section. It could be an episode to revisit for a review if it divides people at the way. I'm not a fan either, I have to say. Oh,
that's stupid.
I mean, I want to know how Timescales knows that.
Yes, I'm Dan Hadley, and you're back here with the panel on YouTube and Facebook for Type 40 Live. I'm happy to say that I've got JT with me. I've got Simon Horton. We've got Ian David Diaz. We've got Bonnie the Rabbit, and we have James Wilson here from the Who Addicts as our special guest this week, ready to get stuck into more Eastery goodness, having a cracking good time. I know. And if you think that is bad, I think I've reined it in from last year. I do.
Well, you did it 4 times last year, I think. But yeah,
I think I did. So please like the video now, subscribe to the channel, check you're still subscribed, and hit the cloister bell to get all the notifications about what's going on next and when. So the podcast, live streams, extra videos, all the other stuff here inside and outside of the TARDIS. Bit of fun now. We're going to go on an Easter fact hunt. And yes, you have got to be careful how you say that. Easter fact hunt time with a few little questions. Oh my God. Yeah, so last year we did That's My Egg. And I did wonder how on earth I was going to top that. So I didn't even try, really. So we've got a few fun questions to get stuck into. And I'm going to tease the panel here with some real good stuff as we get into Easter.
Money.
Illustrated, no money will change hands, and there are no prizes, just bragging rights and the retention of your dignity. And thanks to Jack Main for this beautiful picture here of the 10th Doctor Rabbit. I absolutely love that.
Bonnie loves that.
To illustrate this. Yeah, very good stuff.
On your bum. Yes.
Very nice. Okay, so first of all, this question goes to you, JT. So
pop it on a postcard.
Can't believe we're going to do it. Everybody's looking slightly frightened. Have you noticed? Okay, so Ernie Clements was a rabbit poacher who used to set traps in the grounds of a large priory. But who did the priory belong to?
Well, that would have been Pyramids of Mars.
Was it?
Who did it belong to? Who did the priory belong to? Oh gosh, let me think. It was Sutek's man. Oh God, what was his name? Can't remember the name of the character.
Simon knows.
I can't remember.
Should we have a look?
Simon will be googling.
No hands.
Several people screaming in the live chat.
Oh, I'm not looking at the live chat. It's Scarman, of course, isn't it? It's Marcus Scarman.
Well done.
You are correct.
I had to go through the script there. I had I was getting there.
That's the all-time classic, Pyramids of Mars that we love so. And yes, several people have come up with it there in the live chat.
No,
Got
that picture. Oh, that scared me. That bit there scared the hell out of me. Those mummies when I was a little boy, that scared the hell out of me. That one when they squeeze him to death. Oh, the nightmares. Oh,
fabulous stuff. Okay, Simon, I know that you knew that one, but will you know this one? Will you still be
probably not this one? You better be classic.
When we get stuck into this, which companion of the 8th Doctor had a rabbit called Mopsy?
I haven't got the foggiest. What? Well, hold on. The 8th Doctor. The 8th Doctor.
It's got to be Grace, Simon, because he only had one.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The only one I know is Grace.
We're talking about Big Finish audios then.
What?
Are we talking about the 8th Doctor Big Finish audio?
No, well, this is it. This is where I don't know. The only 8th Doctor companion I know is Grace, and so I have to go with Grace because, well, there was also Yi Jitsu, wasn't there? But I'm guessing I'm going to go with Grace.
There was who?
Grace Holloway.
Oh, Yi Jitsu. Oh, yeah, you're right. Did he have? He didn't have a bunny rabbit though, did he?
I don't know. Maybe.
Is there anybody in the live chat who's got this? Yes, there are. There are people screaming in the live chat because Mopsy did belong to Charlotte Pollard, who named her rabbit Mopsy there. So that's where that one. We did get people who know this in the live chat. Yeah, for the audio aficionados.
Simon, another one. That's not fair. We've got dog fanish. Come on.
Okay, let's give Simon another one.
I'm cool. I won't get this one either. That's the problem.
What happened to the bunny's trousers? That's all I can say.
Okay, Simon, here's another one for you. Okay. Who cooked rabbits whilst en route to the Dalek mine in Bedfordshire?
Yes.
Oh, well, that would be Susan's beloved. I'm going
to give you the question again.
David Campbell.
I'm going to give you the question again. Who cooked rabbit whilst en route to the Dalek mine in Bedfordshire?
Oh, is it the Doctor? It's not the Doctor. Is it the Doctor? It's the Doctor.
We've got people in the live chat know this. It is, I hate to say this, but it's Susan. Susan cooked it. Susan cooked it. Tyler ate it. Yeah, so you were close.
I would have gone with David.
I would have gone with David as well, actually.
She's gone down in my estimation.
That's the case of memory cheating, Simon, because I would have said David as well.
Yeah, I would have said David, undoubtedly.
Yeah. Did he kill it then?
Yeah, David would have killed it, surely. Or unless they just put it live into the water. Maybe she's a bunny boiler. Maybe Susan is a bunny boiler.
It does explain what happened to the Blue Peter rabbit, though.
I'm really quite appalled by that.
Okay, James, it's your turn, my friend, for this one. When the 10th Doctor came upon a rabbit in 1562, he gave it a stern warning because he thought it may be a what in disguise.
That was an easy one. You've given him an easy one.
Maybe well, that's because you guys got all the classic series.
No, I'm not. I know. I like you as well.
I'm not as well versed in classic series trivia, unfortunately.
Because he's a guest, Ian. That's why you've got to be nice to the guest, Ian.
Yeah, well, that would be that the Doctor thought that was a Zygon disguised as a rabbit.
Very stupid, wasn't it?
That's correct. So, Ian, do you remember that moment? You say it was stupid, but what makes you say that? It said
because the Doctor was David Tennant's Doctor is very strange in the 50th. He isn't like the way he was before. You know, I just thought he was a bit odd. Yeah, that he would.
Yeah, I'd say that Russell T Davies is going to be better at writing David as the Doctor in the 60th than Stephen Moffat was writing him in the 50th because. Yeah. I don't know. Just Stephen Moffat just writes the Doctor weird, but I'm not getting into that sort of conversation.
That's a rabbit hole. Hey! Sorry, I couldn't resist it. You didn't get that one in, Dan. You didn't get that one in.
It's a rabbit hole. Okay, this one's for you, Ian.
No,
I know. Okay, which companion of the 5th Doctor would sometimes exclaim rabbits whenever they got frustrated or disappointed? Actually, I'm going to change the question. Which companion of the 4th and 5th Doctor, stroke 5th Doctor, would sometimes exclaim rabbits whenever she got frustrated or disappointed?
I have no idea.
Yes,
Oh,
you
you
do.
must,
Yes,
Ian.
you do.
Oh, you must.
Ian, g'day.
But-
G'day.
Oh yeah, well, what's her name? I can't remember her name now. Would you believe? It isn't Tegan, it's the other one.
No, it's
No, it is.
It's
Oh,
Tegan.
Tegan, it is Tegan. Sorry. Oh, of course.
It's the
Tegan,
one you thought. You just didn't know her name or wasn't sure of her
No,
name.
yeah, no, her face came into my mind, but I always get them mixed up, the names between her and the other girl. That's what
Nissa.
hanging around Peter Davison. Always.
Nissa.
Yeah.
Is it weird
Good
that I
old
can
Tegan.
actually, in my head, I can actually hear Tegan saying rabbits in an Australian accent?
Yeah.
The second you said it, I could just hear her saying rabbits, or
She
something.
says it a lot. She says it a lot.
She used to moan
remember-
a lot, though, didn't she?
I remember a convention a while back where there were 3 lads that turned up with black T-shirts and emblazoned across their chest in white writing was rabbits. And they went to Janet to get something signed, and I don't think she was that amused.
Oh dear.
Rabbits.
Did you say that
I think she only said it about 3 times, but it stuck.
Do you think she was asked to say that in Power of the Doctor at all? She was like, no, I'm not saying that.
Wouldn't know, darling. I didn't watch it.
I can't imagine her saying it in Power of the Doctor. It just wouldn't have been right, would it? Let's be honest. Yeah, I think she probably refused to say it.
Probably, yes.
She didn't even look like herself because she's obviously
No.
aged a lot. She didn't even look
Bless
like
her.
herself. So
She's down under at the moment. She's back in Australia at the moment. So hello, Janet, if you're watching. Yes.
Yeah, good stuff.
Go on, babe.
Okay, we've got some more. This one's for you, JT.
Okay, that one.
According to the 3rd Doctor,
Yes.
a giant rabbit was a delegate at what?
what?
Oh,
I can give you the question. I can give you the question again.
no, the giant rabbit. The delegate out. I can't remember the name of the peace conference. Anyone in the chat? I can't remember the name of the
Can
conference.
you do the question again, Dan? Sorry.
A giant
According
rabbit
to the-
was.
According to the 3rd Doctor, a giant rabbit was a delegate at what?
Delicate.
A delicacy.
They are delegates
Yeah.
and delegates.
I can't remember the name of the. I can't remember. It's too long ago. I can't remember the name of the conferencey thing.
Duck
I'll go
season,
past on that
rabbit
one.
season, duck season, rabbit season.
Rabbit season. Well,
It was definitely some sort of peace conferencey thing from the. It was mentioned in Peladon, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's
One of
definitely
the right
Peladon
things.
that's mentioned in. It's probably
Yes.
the Galactic Federation. Oh, okay, is it that?
Oh, Colony in Space.
So the 3rd Intergalactic Peace Conference
That's
in
it.
Frontier
Third
in Space.
As opposed to the 5th Intergalactic Peace Conference, which was much better.
We didn't get to see this on screen, sadly, Ian, but that would have been a blinder, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that design reminds me of when the BFI was actually created. It used to have designs like that in the.
Yes, they
in
did.
there, yeah,
actually.
The set, you mean? The
set.
the
Yeah,
look
yeah,
of it.
yeah, definitely.
You look at those desks there, and you can now get them from IKEA.
And the chair, the 70s chair,
They're
fantastic.
back in. Have you seen them? They are modern versions of them are coming back in now.
Wow. But Pertweed's there though. Yes, Mr. Pertweed.
He is there. He is there. Okay, this one's for you, Simon. I'd like to know. The Garm was a humanoid creature
Oh God.
with rabbit-like ears, but who controlled him and how?
It was a special effects BBC company. isn't it?
The Vanir controlled him. Did they pull his ears? No, they didn't pull his ears.
They may have done.
They had a little remote control unit that they controlled him with. That's how they did it, wasn't it? It was the
Yes.
Vanir. Yeah.
Yes, you are bang on the money there with that one. It was the Vanir with their little control box too in the unforgettable Stephen Gallagher story, Terminus. And where can the Garm now be found? Is Neil
It's really funny you should say that. Indeed, the Garm now resides in Neil Cole's Museum of Classic Sci-Fi. You can see it every single day if you want to, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. It's a massive costume, as you can imagine, and he had to do a lot of restoration work on it and pull it together. It came in various bits. I think he got he got the legs from one collector and the jacket from another, and so on and so forth. But It's all back together now, and it's all back there in Northumberland. Go and have a look at it.
It's absolutely amazing because the last time I saw that was in the original Blackpool exhibition. The Garm. I remember, the eyes did light up, and the lighting around it was absolutely fantastic. He looked amazing back then. It was, for someone that doesn't look so good on screen, it looked brilliant in the flesh.
But isn't it genuinely the case? I mean, look at that shot on screen now. It's genuinely down to the lighting. Had this been lit properly, they would have got away with it in the way that they don't get away with it. Simple as that.
Yeah. And it was one of the things back in 2003, of course, where Russell was threatening to bring him back.
Yeah.
I'm bringing back the Garm. And a lot of people went, what? And we all went, no!
Well, it's funny you should say that, because that sort of leads on to another question. This one's for you, James. I'd like to know, so when his species were mutated into aggressive conquerors of other races and worlds by radiation from a passing black sun, who became the leader of the Meeps? Who's that?
The what?
The Meeps.
I can give you the question again.
Yes, please.
When
I know the question's quite a mouthful. Sorry.
when his species were mutated, I'll go for that again. When his species were mutated into aggressive conquerors of other races and worlds by radiation from a passing black sun, who became the leader of the Meeps?
Was it Beep?
It's funny you should say it was Beep the Meep.
There we go.
About to make a comeback or first appearance, depending on who you are and how you look at it all. In these other specials.
Yes. With Miriam Margolyes as the voice of Beep the Meep, nonetheless.
What?
I think so. I've heard.
Really?
I mean, I've seen that. I've seen a cast list somewhere. I think Miriam Margolyes is somewhere in one of the 60th specials. I think her voice is. I think.
Okay.
Oh my
That would
God!
work
I hope
for me.
not.
I can see that.
It wouldn't for me. I've always thought of Beep the Meep as a male.
Well, yeah, but
A bloke plays him on Big Finish. It's Toby Longworth, isn't it?
No idea.
I've been waiting for Miriam Margolyes to be in Doctor Who somewhere at some point in Modern Who for a long time. So I'm just glad she's just in there.
If it's true, I'm just glad it's the voice and not bloody her.
Oh, I like Miriam Margolyes.
Lots of people.
I can't be done with her these days, I tell you.
Lots of people. My son's been working with her. I'll tell you that story another time. But he said that she is just as outrageous and charismatic as you would believe.
And it's a box of frogs.
Yes, probably a story for another time there. Okay, this one's for you, Ian. This is the last question you'll be pleased to know. So the sixth Doctor was concerned that his ears were starting to get longer and resemble a rabbit's. But why? Why would he think that?
Don't know.
Oh, bless you.
I'm going to give you the question. I'm going to give you the question again, just before you go, because I know you've got to shoot. The sixth Doctor was worried his ears were starting to get longer and resemble a rabbit's. Why?
Don't know.
Don't know, everybody.
Don't know.
Paul Murray does in the chat.
James? Yeah. James?
Was it due to the sort of like the way that he'd regenerated? Kind of.
Nope.
No. Okay. Nope. I gave it my best shot.
Carrot juice.
Good try.
It's because his pesky assistant, his brand new assistant, had been insisting that he drink lots and lots of carrot juice while he was on a health kick, and the doctor wasn't convinced.
He put a lot of weight on, though, didn't he? Let's face it.
He had his concerns. He's putting on a bit of timber there, Colin. He was fighting the flab. Bless his heart, and he was on the carrot juice. There's not much of it in that glass, but it depends how much she was given. If she was giving it to him intravenously, could have been onto something, but not great. Yeah, not the best. I don't think I've ever had carrot juice. I've had carrot cake, and I'm quite fond of that. I'm quite partial to that.
Carrot juice is awful.
It's absolutely disgusting.
It's nothing like carrot cake. That's all I'll say.
And you'll be pleased to learn. That's the final question there.
Thank God.
Our Easter egg fact.
Well done, Dan. Well done for putting those together. Very good.
Thank you very much. It was harder than you think, but
I didn't like Colin Baker anyway. I hardly watched any of his episodes, so Yeah, I wouldn't have known that question.
He's watched all yours. There you go.
I'm pretty sure.
So, Ian, we know you've got an early start in the morning, mate. You're on a night shoot, aren't you? You're out on manoeuvres. I know you can't say what you're working on, but I hope it's a good one.
Doctor Who, I'm working on.
James Bond, everybody. It's James Bond. He's the new M.
Well, tell Shooty to put his shirt back on and give him and Millie Gibson all our best for the new series. And thanks for your company on the first half of Series 6 of Type 40 Live. We'll see you back here after the break, Ian. But as always, mate, thanks for tonight. We'll speak to you again soon, mate. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Just now he's gone. We can bring the rabbit out. We can. I'm just saying that was ridiculous.
Put it in the pot.
You have no idea, James, how hard it is to come up with 9 questions about rabbits connected to Doctor Who.
I can imagine it's quite a niche trivia quiz to probably come up with. I would have just struggled with the only Easter-related thing that I would have probably came up with would have been the episode Planet of the Dead, because that was an Easter special, I think. And the 10th Doctor holding up an Easter egg going, Happy Easter, and then right before the credits hit. And that's literally as far as I know about Doctor Who's association with Easter.
Well, that's because that's it. That before that, we didn't do anything like that. That's James. That's where it starts and sort of ends, because there was nothing before it. So Easter was never mentioned in Doctor Who in the original run because it just wasn't the thing.
Yeah,
you know?
I just think they just wanted to. David Tennant knew that he was leaving, supposedly at the time, never coming back. And so I think they were probably just like, right, David's not getting a series, so let's just give him 4 specials. Easter, let's do Easter. Let's do Easter as well.
Yeah, it was all part of the plan. But he's like Cher, isn't he? Keeps coming back.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to keep constantly coming back. And he's going to look
every 10 years.
Every single time when he's 70.
Yeah, they'll reel him out for then, yes. Let's have
Amazingly, people are still talking to me after that quiz, Simon. Can you believe it?
I think it was fantastic. I love a quiz. We should have a quiz more often. That was really good. Well done, Dan. Thank you for putting those together. I cannot believe you managed to get 9 questions. I literally wouldn't have believed you could get 9 questions on rabbits from Doctor Who.
Neither can I. Charles in the chat. Oh, Charles, we do miss you. I know, again, talking about working funny shifts, we know that Charles also out on manoeuvres. God, that sounds bad, but you know what I mean. It's still opening hours, isn't it? It's not closing time yet. Yet Charles says now he's gone, we can bring out the rabbits. That didn't take very long, Dan. No, I have no idea. Why do I say these things, JT?
I don't know. Move on. I don't care.
Vanessa says, Mr. Dan Simon trivia. Dan, we used to do that, hadn't we? Why don't we do the Dan Simon trivia anymore?
I think we should. Yeah, I think that has to be. We'll do that over the Easter break. We'll get together and do one of those, because those. I found the quiz box out a while ago, and I thought I've got to do this again. Okay,
great fun those were.
It's a deal. This is a good panel, Dan. Good job. Well, thank you. Praise redacted. I'm more impressed by Simon's pinkness of that shirt. Says Shah. It's a statement, not a question. It's I think that's a bit of fan mail there, Simon, for the shirt. What would you call that? Is it fuchsia?
Hot pink. That's what I'm going to call it. Hot pink.
Woodhouse 122 quite liked Planet of the Dead. I haven't seen that in so long. I'm gonna have to give that a good go.
But it is that Easter bit at the beginning that feels really shoehorned in. You just think, just don't try and make it into an Easter special. Just do it as an episode. Don't shoehorn in an Easter egg gag.
Yeah. Although I did kind of like that they tried to kind of ease in right before the bus crashes through a portal into a barren planet, and the 10th Doctor is nearly about to divulge what he believes happened during Christ and Jesus and all that. So religion being brought into Doctor Who, I was kind of at the time a little bit interested in that. I was a little bit like, oh, what does he think? He's got the time machine. What does he think? What does he think?
Russell's got a very funny relationship with religion, because I don't think he'd mind me saying he's been quoted several times as saying he's an atheist, and yet there's so much allegory, isn't there? Christian allegory. Mm-hmm. And visual cues and things like that in his Doctor Who, or at least there was in the first innings. Who knows what we got coming up in the second? I mean, I suppose you don't have to be a believer to be interested in the creation myth and religion and all that kind of thing. I agree with you, James. I think it is I think it is quite interesting.
Yeah,
but I think they'd probably be very reluctant to revisit it now. I don't know.
It shouldn't be in Doctor Who. There's no way it should be in Doctor Who. Terence Dix once said one of the topics you avoid is religion because you're bound to upset somebody, and he's absolutely right. And in this day more than ever, especially when Christians in the United Kingdom are under attack, left, right, and centre. So I think it's out of place for Doctor Who. Just tell a science fiction story, shut up, and get on with this.
According to Vanessa Law, it's probably not a good idea. Peter Capaldi mentioned hell, and everyone had fits. Oh, I can't remember that. But
the science fiction element, you can get away with that sort of imagery in a science fiction, like they did with the Satan Pit by Matt. Wonderful stories for a 2-episode thing there, but I think Matt pulled that off beautifully. But you've got to just you could be slagging somebody off there just for the sake of slagging them off, and that's not what Doctor Who does. Ever.
No, I agree. You've mentioned those 2 episodes as well. I thought that was, I wouldn't say subtle as such, but I think it was more a question about spirituality and morality and the questions we ask ourselves.
Well, it was an alien, wasn't it? It wasn't actually the devil. It's like Azael in proper Doctor Who, but it was an alien, and things like that could
proper Doctor Who. I've noticed that creeping into your vocabulary.
Well, because it is. I don't count the reboot anymore. And we've been through that, so it's not the right show to go. But I don't count the reboot as proper Doctor Who anymore. I'm convinced on that now.
Okay, so let us know what you think, not just of what JT's just said, but that entire question about Easter. Do you want more quizzes too? And can you think of any more bits of rabbit trivia connected with Doctor Who that I have missed? Let us know. Get in touch with us. You know what to do and when to do it.
You really want?
Click the buttons. Click the buttons. Like and subscribe. Click the buttons. Click the buttons. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Oh, almost forgot. We've got to round things off with one last look at the view screen, our regular eye into the temporal schism in search of the prettiest pictures from out there in the Whoniverse. So if you are a fan artist, or you know a fan artist, or somebody who crafts anything to do with Doctor Who, whether it's the classic series, the new, or the all new that's to come, get in touch with us. Let us know about them or you, and where we can see what you do and how you do it. That's what we like to do on this show. We have had this bit of fan art. I have no name. There's no name attached to this one yet, James, but I felt I had to show it anyway. It's So if you do know who's responsible for that, please let us know. But they probably did that for the reason that we do this, all for the love of Doctor Who. That's why we create these shows.
I've seen there's a few of those going around. I've seen one where the background there with Tom Lalla, Matthew, and K9 is actually behind Steed and Tara King, which I thought was gorgeous. I love that one much better than that. Get that off. Thank you very much.
It's going to run around this doomsday thing, isn't it? It's the joke that just keeps on giving.
And I wish it wouldn't. I wish it would just bugger off, to be quite honest.
No, I just have to get the fun out of it, because it's just so awful that you've just got to find some fun in there.
If we didn't laugh, we'd cry, wouldn't we, Simon?
That's true. That's what I mean.
Okay, so this is the 60th anniversary year of Doctor Who. Of course it is. How could we forget? And that's got people furiously creating, not least of all, our friend, I don't know if he's watching tonight, actually, Tim Thorne has created this wonderful picture, an artist rendering, JT, of the moment we got to meet the 14th Doctor nearly 5 months ago now.
Is this digital art, or is it a mix of?
I think it's mostly digital. Tim, you have to let us know.
It looks painted though as well. I quite like that. It's a nice composition.
It does, and I like the fact that he's got, coming off the hands, there's a touch of the 1980s title sequences there, Simon. Can you spot that?
Oh, there is. Yeah, the little kaleidoscope bits in there, the little prism flashes. Yeah, it's very good. I would say that is digital, but yeah, JT's right. It looks as though it's been sort of painted.
It's the jacket, isn't it? The jacket and stuff, the TARDIS itself, yeah.
Lovely stuff. So we like to, in this section, James, we like to take a look at both digital and traditional art, because there are people who specialise in either, or who mix them in really interesting ways. Do you keep an eye on fan art?
I do actually. I still read up every now and again on a lot of people's fan art and what they come up with. It's been years since I've collected a Doctor Who Adventures magazine, but I have great nostalgia for it. The kids' Doctor Who Adventures magazine, and I will sometimes, when I'm just out and about at the shops, I'll just flick right through past all the word searches and everything like that I used to be obsessed with growing up, and I still look at the fan art section of people just sending stuff in, and it's in Doctor Who Adventures, and I'm just like, wow, all of these are just really creative and really great. So yeah, I still keep an eye on it from time to time, both on the internet and in print form as well.
So this one's from the Thin King, Tim Thorne. Thank you for your loyalty to the show, Tim. Your interest over all this time, and yeah, keep the artwork coming. I think Tim's got a Twitter account where he puts regular examples of his work up, and I think he's on Instagram too. So go and check out Tim's work. There's this too. This is Easter themed. Exterminate, exterminate. Say the Daleks on this one from Tones Tunes. I think this is definitely. I was going to say it was markers there, but I think it's water. Could be watercolors. No, it is markers. But this is old-fashioned cartooning, isn't it, Simon? This is the kind of stuff that I do.
yeah, but it's great fun, isn't it? I just love that. It's and the way they've made the lights into bunny ears. It's clever. It's fun. This is what we've said so many times. Doctor Who just inspires people to do this kind of stuff. You'd never get somebody doing a piece of artwork like that of I don't know, EastEnders or whatever. And that's what I love about Doctor Who. It just inspires people all the time to come out with some really wacky stuff. Love it.
I noticed that Bill Tidy, the cartoonist, died a couple of weeks ago. He never used to be off TV in the 80s. And I was ever so sad to see that. But yeah, I love this style. It's very scratchy, very instant. And this is just the kind of stuff that my sense of humor, the stuff that I do. Everybody knows that I do love a pun. Next up, it's this one from Georgia Cook that she's put up on her Instagram account. Now, Georgia is a regular on the convention circuit. I think it is, again, I think it's a mixture of traditional art. I think she does all her line work traditionally and then finishes it off digitally. This is her portrait of Ian and Barbara sat at the foot of the TARDIS there with a brilliant light behind it, JT. And obviously it's in black and white too, but befits the dawn of the classic.
I'm sorry, did you want an answer there? Sorry about that. What were you asking me?
Well, I just think this captures the relationship between the two characters quite nicely. And even though it's a very modern piece of artwork, it's not something you would see from the 60s. I just think it's really nicely done.
Okay, lovely.
Well, I like it. I think it's lovely. I really, really like it because I love Ian and I love Barbara. And that what I like about this is I just like the simplicity of it, which is so reminiscent of those 60s episodes. And I've always just secretly thought that, I'm sure that Ian and Barbara go off and get married and have children once they get back to 60s London. And so I just love that original TARDIS team. I just think Ian and Barbara had such a lovely relationship, and it made it just so warm and accessible to watch as a show. And so I like this piece of art. This is the kind of thing.
Yeah, I did too. So we never saw them look at one another like this, did we, Simon? But we only ever saw them going from adventure to adventure. There were probably quieter moments when they may have done.
But I think it was there. I genuinely think it was there because in those days Doctor Who was undoubtedly a kids program, and so they just wouldn't really have put much of the romance into it in those early days. But I have always thought it's absolutely there. It's literally just out of the frame behind the camera. You just know that Ian and Barbara have got a thing going, and I just love that. And it's a lovely piece of artwork. Really like it. And it captured Jacqueline Hill particularly well, I think, there.
Yes, I think that's the eyes, I think, are perfect. I mean, it's a difficult balance to strike between stylizing and getting the likeness bang on. I think if you communicate a mood, you know, because obviously this is what I do. I'm an illustrator, I'm a cartoonist, and so you have to strike the right sort of balance. And I really do think this is beautiful.
Well, and also the other reason I like it is because it's clearly not copied from photographs. I love to see stuff that is, as we were talking earlier, when Charlotte was saying about we want to see some original creative artwork out there, and this is the kind of stuff, because that's not copied from anything. And that's another great thing about it. It's just nice to see people creating their own stuff out there, coming up with their own stories.
Catches people's imaginations as well, Simon. We've got a comment here from Paul Murray who says they're at it in the Romans. And Dave Muller says, watch the Romans, and it leaves you in no doubt, James.
I just had to sort of, my eyes just sort of widened a bit by the sentence "they're at it in the Romans." Just I'm like, you know, so I just had to be a little bit like, whoa, okay.
It's a euphemism.
yes, I know. It's just naughty, Ian, naughty Barbara.
Going into the 70s now, and traditional art, we've got this one from Mark D. Lewis. We've looked at Mark's work a few times. It's very consistent artist, always on canvas, and this is an oil painting, I believe, of, well, you see for yourself, proper Zygons there, JT, proper Zygons.
Yeah, I've seen this before. It's really, really good, and I think he's captured the look and the feel of the story beautifully, because the colours are right, the lighting is right, you know where the setting is without even having to look. So yeah, I think Mark's done a cracking job there.
I like the pitch black of the eyes in particular, Simon. It's totally sunken.
Yeah, well, I mean, this again just sort of contrasts with the picture of the Zygon that you put up sort of 20 minutes ago. I still maintain that they just completely screwed them up in the 50th anniversary, and then in the subsequent stories. These are true Zygons. It's a beautiful piece of artwork. It just says it all. The only thing I would pull out, and I'm joking here, is that he didn't put the little microphone that should be just that top sucker just in front of his mouth. I'm joking, but that's lovely. It's beautiful.
Shah says they actually look kind of scary there. Not so juvenile like they do in New Who. Yeah. Proper Zygons, says Matthew Pounder.
Yeah. They're over-designed in New Who. They're just simply over.
Well, most things are, let's face it. You know, they're either over-designed or overthought, unfortunately.
Yeah, Cybermen are the same. They're over-designed.
The Sontarans weren't quite right.
Yeah, I've never quite understood why they can't just... The Zygons of all things, I don't understand why they didn't just stick with that original sculpture. It was perfect. Literally
it was perfect by H's in there, and it's a shame they didn't, really, because we'd wanted them back for so long. But this is why I keep saying, let's not bring things back. You got to move forward and let them build their own legacy. Because the more that you bring things back, the more. Even the Ice Warriors didn't look that brilliant, in my opinion.
We're always going to be disappointed.
They're just always exactly. Just let them be, and get on with some new stuff and do that. You know,
I forgive.
Sorry,
James.
When the writers, I think, were making Doctor Who back then, I think really they kind of hesitated to if they were to bring back old villains. I think they hesitated to bring them back looking exactly like they did back in the day, because they were worried about it seeming hokey and cheap, like you know, Doctor Who monsters kind of did, like it was put together with latex and tape and all sorts of stuff, and just what they could grab, you know. So they wanted it to seem a bit more streamlined, a bit more glossy, you know, and stuff. So I can sort of see why they wanted to do that, to bring it into modern day. But now I can sort of see that, you know, why don't they just make it look a little bit more simplistic, you know? Just simple is better in a way.
So when it comes to well, exactly, when it comes to Doctor Who monsters as well, you know, less is always more. Just leave them be and make the new stuff and go and take them wherever you want to, you know. So,
but I mean, I think sort of going one step further, the Zygons in the original series, I think possibly, arguably, are the best monster designs and the best costumes and the best production in classic Who, full stop. And so I think that the Broton costume in particular just looked $1 million. And so it would have stood up You could have literally put Broton on screen in the 50th anniversary, the original costume, and it would have stood up to today's standard.
Oh, totally.
So
I mean, when you saw the original Zygon in the exhibitions, it still looked fantastic, even though it had to be reconstructed. I mean, when you look at the modern one, like that picture that Dan had earlier, it just looks like a lump of latex.
Well, it looks, yeah, exactly. The irony of it always seems to me that the modern Zygons look exactly like what they are, which is made out of latex, whereas the original genuinely looks like an alien creature.
And it's quite slimy as well, because they put all that stuff. It was all that creative stuff, even though they had no money. Whereas now they have money and they don't get it quite right. So you know, and the comment there about Lynx, the original Sontaran, stunning design. Never actually quite got there. I mean, okay, the Sontaran experiment one, we know the story. They had to rebuild the master, but it was based very much on that original one for the same actor. But then they sort of went off piece a little bit. For a cloned race, they got it wrong. Yeah. So it's why
Chibnall did try and take that back to the original, the Lynx, but I don't think it quite works. I mean, go on,
sorry, I was just going to say they supposedly did, and I argued it at the time that it really didn't go back to that original Lynx.
I don't think I've ever seen them, the latest ones.
They really, they just don't work with me. And let's not forget again, that was John Friedlander that sculpted Lynx, and it was also John Friedlander that sculpted Davros. We don't sing the praises sufficiently of John Friedlander on the show. I think we could probably do a dedicated show on John Friedlander.
No, I agree. Is he still alive, Simon?
No,
he died. No, he
died a while ago, did he? Oh,
yeah, well, it was in the 80s, wasn't it? I'm sure it was late 80s.
It might have been a little bit later now, but it's a while.
It's a long time ago. Yeah.
But he was a genius. No two ways.
Mac Moore says, late again. Hi, everyone. Hello, Mac. Good to see you. If you like the beauty of this, that's the beauty of it, isn't it, Simon? They can do some real life time traveling, can't they?
Just pop back, just go back to the beginning and start us all over again. And then you'll eventually get to this point and it'll be like really timey-wimey stuff. It'll blow your brains.
Oh, please don't say that. I hate that.
I'm being ironic. I said it's especially for you, James.
One last
childish
here we are. We're about to disappear in a puff of smoke for a couple of weeks over the Easter break. Heaven knows what we'll be doing or what you'll be doing. But we're still months away, about 6 or 7 months away from those anniversary specials, James. So it's not quite Christmas. But we've got this one last piece here. This is from, let's get the artist's name right. It's Kei Kawa. And this is a kind of anime-inspired 11th and 12th Doctor, multi-Doctor cartoon here, James. What do you think of this? Is this your style? Do you like anime?
I did grow up with quite a bit of anime. Yes, I was deep into Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid, and so yeah, I do like that kind of anime style, especially when it comes to art such as this. I think that this has become quite lovely and cute looking, and it looks like a really cute piece of art. I really do like it, and I especially love the comment, no new episodes until Christmas, and it's like, I really like that. That's really nice.
Nice stuff. Cute, says Matthew Pounder. Fabulous, says Crimpling Doubloon. And yeah, like this kind of thing, it's not for everybody, anime, I know, but I like some of it, and others not so much, Simon. But when it captures just a moment, a little bit of spirit of the character, and of course it's connected to rabbits there and Easter, how could I resist this?
Well, again, it's like I say, it's just Doctor Who just inspires this kind of creativity. I don't think there's any, well, maybe Star Wars. I was going to say there's nothing else out there that really inspires in the way that Doctor Who does. Star Wars is probably the only other one, I would say, that is on the same kind of page as Doctor Who when it comes to just inspiring people to do stuff like this. It's great. Love it.
And yet again, here's the call to action. If you're a fan artist like Tim Thorne and all the other artists that are there in that selection from the gallery this time, please get in touch with us. Let us know where we can see the work that you like or the work that you do yourself. Give us the links to your Instagram and wherever you show your work off, and we'll feature it on the show. You can even come on the show and talk to us about it if you like. Do a Type 40 extra with us like Connor J. Atkins did not that long ago about his wonderful, massive mural. You can do all that if you reach out to us through our social media on Instagram and Twitter at Type 40 Doctor Who. You can email us type40@gmail.com, or even better, you can hang out in the comments section here at Type40Live and give us some more, some tip-offs about where we can find the good stuff there. If you're really brave, you can join us over on Facebook in the Type 40 Facebook groups. They're full of generations upon regenerations worth of Doctor Who fans gassing on, as we all like to do, about the classic show, about the new show, and looking forward to all new Doctor Who to come from Christmas onwards. Very, very exciting time to be a Doctor Who fan. I think we're on the crest of something pretty big, James. And I'm glad to hear that you've been sort of restocked by it all. You're anticipating the next few months. Next 7 months can't go fast enough.
Honestly, I wish I had my own TARDIS so that I could just travel straight to November right now, because I'm getting, honestly, I think it's great that we did get a trailer on Christmas Day. Wasn't expecting that, because we've literally gotten more on the first 60th special than nearly a year before it's due to come on, more than Chris Chibnall had done for Power of the Doctor when it was due to come out in a week. There was almost no trailer.
What do you mean you weren't expecting that? Do you not watch this show? I told you about that in October. How dare you not watch this show?
I'm sorry. But yeah, no, I can't wait. I'm actually going to go and meet David Tennant in May at Basingstoke Comic Con. I'm going to go and meet him, and I've idolized this man since I was 10 years old. I think I may lose the ability to speak English or any other noise coming out of my mouth. I'm really kind of worried that I'm going to plan everything that I'm going to say, and then everything's just going to turn into gobbledygook once I meet him. But I'm going to have to hold off on any 60th questions, because Russell T Davies has probably sworn him to secrecy on pain of death. So
you're going to have a moment. You think you're going to have a moment?
Oh yeah, more than a moment. It's like, depending how long they give. I mean, it's David Tennant. He's the current Doctor, so they've charged quite a bit for people to go and see him. So I've paid for everything: the autograph, the photograph, the Q&A.
How much does that cost you?
Oh, about an arm and a leg.
Well, if you're still within your regeneration cycle, 12 hours or so, you can grow a couple of them back.
Oh, yeah, I can grow a few limbs back, yeah.
Brilliant stuff. Well, thanks for joining us on this show, James. I do hope you've enjoyed yourself. We haven't scared you too much with the depth of geekiness.
No, absolutely not. I've loved it. If anything, it's made me go, you know what? I need to, if I'm going to be a Doctor Who fan, you guys have put me to shame, if anything, because I don't know anywhere near as much as I thought I did about Doctor Who. I would say to people, what would be your subject of interest on Mastermind? I'd be like, Doctor Who, and you guys have just put me to shame. So
doesn't matter, as long as you enjoy it. That's what matters.
We do this for the love of Doctor Who, and for what we like to exchange these things with other fans, not just our experiences, but our views as well, and see where they compare and where they contrast. That's what we do here at Type 40 Live. And if you'd like some more, please come back, and we'll give you another experience, a Type 40 Live experience. There we are. That's the best way I can think of describing it. People are saying they like this picture of the Doctor Who rabbit, so there's another blast of that for you. Thank you, everybody who's been
Peter Davison is fantastic on there. I want the Peter Davison.
Brilliant, isn't it?
It's
the hair,
brilliant.
Because the hair's so difficult to get, but somehow it just works.
It's the little jumper and the little top button and the little bit of celery. It's beautiful.
Absolute magic, creative magic. This is the kind of thing that we love. Okay, that's it. We're going on our break now. This is the mid-season break time. More Type 40 Live Doctor Who, same time and space at some point in the not too distant future. So don't forget, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, check you're still subscribed. Check out all the podcasts and playlists, everything labeled Type 40 and Type 40 live here. And we'll be back with more live streams in a few weeks' time. I'll be back at the same time next week from another time and space with another panel all together for a bit of an Easter treat. More on that if you keep your eyes tuned to the channel over the next few days. You'll get a few little tip-offs about who that may be and what the subject is. But that's it for our Easter special. We always have the time if you have the space here at Type 40. Of course we do. JT, thank you for your company. Simon, as always, I'm just looking at you both with those ears on. So I've been able to keep a straight face most of the night. Thank you both for your company, as always, and my gratitude and a happy Easter to Charlotte Shields and Ian David Diaz, because I know that they're still out there. James Wilson, where can people get your stuff again? The Who Addicts, where can they get hold of that?
Yes, the Who Addicts is on YouTube. Also, some of the podcast episodes are on Spotify and all the other podcast providers, iTunes and all the rest. So those can be on there. I've got a new video popping up. Doctor Who should have its own Thanos. So if you're a Marvel fan as well, I talk about why Doctor Who should possibly have its own overarching villain that stretches out through the spin-offs and what have you. So yeah, just take a look at that.
Thanks. Yeah, well, thanks for joining us, James. I've been really good getting to know you on this show. And yeah, thank you again, everybody in the comment section. Leave us some more comments on this show. Hold tight, take care, have a cracking Easter, and we'll catch you soon. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.